Idaho high school seniors graduating next spring are eligible for up to $8,000 in grant money for career training and education through Idaho Launch. Funds can be used to cover the cost of apprenticeships, job training, community college, and university programs that lead to in-demand careers. Students choose their own path, and Idaho Launch helps pay for it. Funds are limited. Apply today at nextsteps.idaho.gov/launch. Idaho Launch. Support in every direction.
This is not what I asked for.
Once again, we have contributed to your ideal college savings program. Love, Grandma and Grandpa.
Give the gift of college savings this holiday season with Ideal, Idaho's 529 college savings program. Eventually, they'll appreciate it.
I love it. Thank you.
College costs money.
This has been a presentation of IdahoSports.com GameStreams. This broadcast is copyrighted to IdahoSports.com. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of IdahoSports.com is strictly prohibited.
Welcome into this IdahoSports.com GameStreams production of the 2023 Idaho High School Football Playoffs, presented by the Idaho Transportation Department and Ideal, Idaho's college savings program. And additional coverage on IdahoSports.com is presented by Project Filter, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Valleywide Cooperative, Next Steps Idaho, Your Health Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. Well, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Holt Arena on the campus of Idaho State University. Here we are, the final week of the 2023 football season, the hot August two-a-days, the film sessions, the bumps and bruises, they've all come down to this. It's the 3A state title game live on IdahoSports.com. The Sugar-Salem Diggers taking on the Teton Timberwolves. Glad to have you with us. My name is Scott Burton, and I'm joined in the booth by my broadcast partner, Lance Taylor. Over on stats, Logan Green, and down on the sidelines, Paul Kingsbury. Well, Lance, this features a game with a couple of familiar foes out of the Mountain Rivers Conference and a rivalry that has been dominated by Sugar, who have won 12 straight over Teton, including a 41-14 beatdown earlier this season. This is a Sugar team looking to win its fifth state title in 6 years, and this is a Digger team that has not been tested all year long.
No, they haven't. I mean, their biggest test is typically against each other in practice. That's their biggest test. They've got really good players on both sides of the ball. You have a defensive coordinator that is just an absolute juggernaut, demands out of his players what they get. And this is a team, a lot of why they haven't been tested, well, of course, they would tell you they've been tested. But a lot of why we can view it as not being tested is because they are so efficient. The way they play the game, they just do it the right way.
Well, and this might be a David versus Goliath matchup. Teton does bring to the dance an offense which led all of 3A in point production, averaging 45 points a game. And their quarterback, Jack Nelson, is the state's leading passer at all levels. He's a big part of that equation, but the first time they played, Sugar able to pick him off 3 times.
Yeah, you know, Nelson is a good quarterback, but Sugar has a good defense. And what you end up doing is just saying, who's going to break first in a scenario like that? And because of the amount of yards he puts up, he demands attention in the backfield.
Well, we are just moments away from kickoff in the 3A state championship game from Holt Arena. It's the Sugar-Salem Diggers. It's the Teton Timberwolves. And kickoff is next on IdahoSports.com.
An Idaho-based credit union is leading the way in community initiatives and charitable partnerships. Recognizing a need for change, Lookout Credit Union underwent a major transformation to put its employees and their community first. Through 2 strong initiatives, Lookout Credit Union is ensuring a brighter future for its community. To find out more, visit www.lookoutcu.com.
Folks, I've got good news and bad news. Bad news? You just took that selfie with poison ivy. Good news, someone gets to use their coverage from Your Health Idaho. Quality coverage for as low as $0 a month.
Moments away from kickoff here at Holt Arena. Scott Burton, Lance Taylor, Logan Green, Paul Kingsbury. We've got the A team on the 3A. Well, I make it the A- team. But we've got a team here for the 3A state title game, and a game that features two familiar foes. Sugar-Salem, Teton, just miles really apart from each other. Yeah. And a team that knows each other very, very well. For Sugar-Salem, it's going to be about Carson Harris, getting him started. Over 1,200 yards on the season with 19 touchdowns. He's also their leading tackler. But he's a guy that Sugar really needs to establish early. And if you want to talk about keys to victory in this game, Lance, for Sugar, knowing that you have dominated Teton for so long, it becomes imperative that the Diggers strike fast, they strike early, they strike often to take any hope away from Teton that they're going to hang in this game.
Well, if Carson Harris played for any other team, he'd probably be close to 2,000 rushing yards on the season. But because there's so many weapons on this Sugar team that they can mix it around a little bit, he just has the yards that he has. But this is the thing that makes it tough. Once Sugar scores and gets up in that game, because they can pass well and they can run well, they have the ability to keep the ball in their hands and bleed the clock. Now, rarely do they ever have to. You see by the number of points they put up on the board. Both these teams put up a lot of points. But the fact that they can makes them an extremely dangerous team and a tough team to come back on.
Well, they're averaging 43 points a game and giving up just under 10 points are Sugar-Salem. We talk about their offensive prowess, but defensively, they've got some players on the side of that football, and they're going to have to deal with Jack Nelson again. And if you're Jack Nelson, the state's leading passer at any level, over 3,000 yards, 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. This is a kid that Teton needs to get going early, and they already played once. We talked about the three interceptions that Sugar was able to, accomplish against Jack Nelson. What does Teton have to do to get themselves going in this game?
One of the places where Sugar has been vulnerable this year, when they have been vulnerable, has been in the deep pass, because between Roosevelt, for example, who is a receiver that he was a 100-yard dash qualifier for state last year, he can create that distance that they couldn't get on the group of backs and the safeties that Sugar had last year. This year they've been able to get that. So if you are Nelson, you have got to be accurate in your deep passes to take advantage of that, because one thing that Teton is going to happen, that pocket is going to close quickly. So for Nelson, he has to be accurate. I think a lot of this game comes down to what happens in the backfield with Nelson. Can Nelson be accurate? If he has enough time to be accurate and hit his receivers, they can cause particularly some deep problems for Sugar-Salem.
And they're going to have to strike early as well, because for Teton, they cannot get behind the sticks. They can't get behind the 8 ball, and they certainly cannot get behind the scoreboard against this Sugar team who comes into this game heavily favored. But it is tough to beat a really good team twice in the same season, especially when teams like this know each other so well. And we talk about Jack Nelson being the state's leading passer at all classifications. Thomas Roosevelt is the state's leading receiver at all classifications with over 1,600 receiving yards. This is a prolific Teton offense that has really had their way with everybody except Sugar.
Except for Sugar, yeah. Sugar's got a really good defense, and it makes for a good storyline. Speaking of storylines, obviously when you're playing a conference opponent, there's a lot of storylines there. The kids know each other. They know each other more than just off the football, more than the football field themselves. Tyler Richens, the head coach of Sugar-Salem, of course, was the quarterback on that state championship team that Teton had back in the 90s. And Sugar's head assistant coach, who was Dwight Richens, was the head coach for that Teton team. So we've got storylines there, as well as there's friends back and forth between the two valleys that have played in the different areas. Dawson McAnally, a big important part of the Sugar-Salem system. His father was also on that state championship team, and so there are of Tetons, and so there's a lot of storylines between these two teams that extend a lot farther than just what takes place on the field.
And you're going to hear a lot more of those stories as we get into this game, as we have got the regional know-it-all encyclopedia. I mean, he knows the medical records, locker combinations, blood types of everybody in this valley, Lance Taylor. And we're going to be sharing some of those stories as we progress. And we are just about ready for kickoff here. It's going to be Sugar-Salem kicking it away. They will be dressed in their white pants, blue tops, blue helmets with white numbers, and they will move right to left in front of us. Receiving the kickoff will be the Teton Timberwolves, and I'm going to have a hard time saying Timberwolves because I've been used to for something else for so long, but Teton's going to be dressed in their road white jerseys, white pants.
Well, and Teton's going to try to do what they can do with this kickoff to get it in the hands of Roosevelt. If Roosevelt, whose father is also the basketball coach at Teton High School and grandfather is the assistant coach of the basketball team, this is weird only having one Roosevelt on the team. There was a time when they had 3. But he is the only one now that's on this team. If they can get it in his hands, they know that they have a legitimate shot of breaking a big one on a special teams play.
Tykert ready to kick it away for Sugar.
Tykert coming off his second state championship soccer team and just kicks only. He's a specialist.
And this kick will be scooped up at about the 7-yard line by Jack Joyce. Joyce knocked out of bounds as he crosses the 30, and we will see Teton's high-profile offense for the first time in this 3A state title game. And quarterback Jack Nelson averaging almost 300 yards a game this season. Only managed 176 the last time against Sugar.
Well, last time out against Homedale, I was there for that game. He's had that run at the end to win it, and man, he should have been sacked. He fights his way out of it and finds his way into the end zone. He's a phenomenal athlete. Watch out for him today.
Yeah, he's a gamer. He understands the game very well, to go along with it. We had Jack Joyce return that opening kickoff. We will call the Joyce name quite a bit tonight. Their dad, of course, is their coach, coached over at Jackson Hole High School before that. And we will also hear the name Joker Joyce. Yes, it is Joker. That is the name. And a big thing that just happened down on the field, number 3, Ammon Lee, who they thought was out for the whole season and half the basketball season, is back on the field for Diggers.
All right, this is going to be Roosevelt with the carry. Little sweep to the right side, and Sugar pursuing quickly, but Roosevelt able to get a nice gain on first down. We'll give him 4 yards up to the 35-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Teton.
It was a nice block by the right tackle in that scenario, who came over and picked up Carson Harris. The leading tackler for Sugar-Salem was able to take him off of that route.
Nelson working out of the gun, handoff. Again, this is going to be Jack Joyce, and not a lot of room in that interior defensive line of Sugar. Maybe a couple to bring up 3rd down for Teton.
You'll see Joyce a lot up the gut. You'll see Roosevelt out to the edges. That's what you're going to see from these teams.
Trips left for Nelson. 2 receivers to the right. Empty backfield on 3rd down and a long 4 for Teton. Long count for Nelson. Nelson takes the snap, looking to throw, under pressure. He's got a man deep down the field. It's complete. A big strike to number 88 for Teton. That's going to be Burke Nelson all the way inside the 10-yard line, and Teton with the big chunk play has it 1st and goal.
And what did we talk about of keys to victory for Teton? The one place where Sugar has had some vulnerability is in the deep ball. And right there, you could see on the defensive line, they were pointing at each other, trying to figure out who was going to cover who.
From the 9-yard line, it's 1st and goal, handoff. Joyce hit at the line of scrimmage and dropped. I'm not sure he made it back to that line of scrimmage. Making the tackle was Ryan Bingham.
Ryan Bingham in on that, and also big number 51. There's a couple of 300-pounders on that line for Sugar-Salem on that defensive line. You got Big Clark Sidaway, the junior, and then you have number 77, Caden Dowling, the senior.
2nd and goal from the 10, a bobbled snap, and it's loose. Teton able to fall on it, but boy, near disaster for Teton, as falling on the bobbled snap was Roosevelt. And now it's 3rd down and goal, but the line of scrimmage is all the way back to the 14.
I think Roosevelt was actually going to come around for a reverse. As he turned around, the ball was dropped after that snap, and so he just happened to be there to fall on it. Fortunate for them, because everybody else was a digger.
2 receivers right, 2 receivers left. Nelson to throw. Sets up in the pocket. Fires to the corner. Caught! Touchdown, Teton! Caden Hastings with a little back shoulder throw from Jack Nelson, and Teton on the first drive strikes first.
What a great pass by Nelson. And kudos to the offensive line. One thing that teams have a hard time doing against Sugar-Salem is giving their quarterbacks enough time to throw the ball consistently from that backfield. They kept that pocket open so it didn't collapse on him, pick up the touchdown.
And the two-point conversion, a little bit of trickeration. Double reverse pass to the corner of the end zone. Conversion is good.
Well, and this time they go to Jack Nelson. After that reverse, here they come right back to Jack Nelson, pick it up in the corner.
Philly special right there.
Oh, they're saying it was no good.
He must have bobbled it on the way down.
It.
And we never saw it, but 9:37 to go here in the opening quarter. Teton strikes first. 6-0 Timberwolves.
Fall River Propane serves eastern Idaho from Shelley and Firth all the way to Island Park and Teton Valley. They do it with the highest quality, hottest burning propane at competitive prices. Our industry-trained and certified service staff services all makes and models of propane fireplaces and stoves. Fall River Propane is your full-service propane provider for homes and businesses. Check them out at fallriverpropane.com or simply call anytime at our new phone number, 833-682-2671. That's 833-682-3671. Fall River Propane, and they say experience the difference. Franklin Building Supply is a proud supporter of local student athletes and all the building professionals of eastern Idaho. Their friendly and knowledgeable team ready to help make your project a success from start to finish. Franklin Building Supplies in Pocatello. It's worth the trip.
All right. Teton 6-0 over Sugar. They'll kick it away, and Sugar will have their first possession of the ball game. And the kick into the end zone, there will be no return. So 1st and 10 upcoming for Sugar from their 20-yard line.
Well, and one of the things you see right off the bat is why Teton is leading the state in all school sizes in passing. They can get down the field really quick, and that was on a 3rd down. The long pass was on a 3rd down. You know, it was either convert this or maybe get a punt out of it, and instead they end up with a touchdown.
And it was a beautiful strike delivered by Nelson. And the Timberwolves punched it into the end zone on their opening drive, and now Sugar will have their chance to answer.
Nelson, of course, he is a basketball player for the Timberwolves as well.
James Chase, the quarterback for Sugar. Over 1,400 yards passing, 15 touchdowns to go along with 4 interceptions. Very efficient through the air is James Chase. And he will be under center. Split backs behind Chase. Play action. Chase rolling to his right, out into the flat, complete on 1st down, and a gain of 14 as the pass is complete to Carson Harris.
One of the things you'll see quite a bit, everybody defensively lines up to defend the run through the tackles against Carson Harris. Then you'll have those times where he comes out of the backfield like that. He's caught a number of passes that way.
Line of scrimmage up to the 34-yard line. 1st down, Sugar.
You know, Carson Harris, the last game Sugar lost, he was a sophomore. They lost it here in the state championship game in double overtime on about the 1-inch mark.
Yep.
He was not supposed to be the starting runner that year. His brother was, who got hurt in the first game of the season.
I remember that play. That was quite a hit at the goal line. 1st and 10. Handoff. This is going to go to Tate Cutler. And Cutler, a short gain on the play, maybe a yard or 2 up to the 35-yard line. We'll give him 1. 2nd down and 9. Good defense by Teton.
That was run as a sweep to Cutler as he started to go to the outside. It was number 66, Garrett Toom, who had jumped up there and pushed him into the middle where he had help defensively.
Just underway here, first quarter action in the 3A state title game. Sugar on their first possession of the game, facing 2nd down and 9 from their own 35-yard line. 2 receivers out to the right for James Chase. Little play action. Chase will call his own number, trying to turn the corner right side. Teton there defensively making the tackle was Hoosveld. And short of the 1st down is going to be James Chase as he's out of bounds at the 40. That'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
You know, as fast as James Chase is, and he's very open field fast, it is awfully tough for anybody to beat Thomas Hoosveld to the edge.
And you talk about that track speed in the pregame, and it shows on the defensive side of the football, the ability to pursue the runner and the speed on the defensive side from Thomas Hoosveld. 3rd down and 4. From their own 40-yard line, Sugar Two backs behind Chase. One in the slot, one split right. Play action. Chase under duress, has to throw it away. And incomplete, but what pressure brought by Teton into the backfield is Seth Stevens. And it's 4th down for Sugar.
Well, and Stevens did the right thing. Oftentimes what you do when you get back in there is you think, well, I'm just going to drop levels and I'm going to go for that waist and bring him down. Instead of going right for the hit, he went to block the pass first and did so, and then brought him down, because you go right at the waist, they might complete that pass on you.
A little misdirection from Sugar, and Chase never had a chance. And Sugar has to punt it away. The kick away from the 30, and this one will not be returned as this one goes out of bounds on the far side. Let's see where they mark it.
That might be around the 45-yard line on the other side of the field by the time it's walked off. Maybe even better field position. Dallin Liddell's kind of shanked that off the right side of his foot.
He did. Right at the 40 is where they're going to mark it out. So Teton will take over on their second possession of the game. From their own 40-yard line, they lead it 6-0.
And they honestly could have justified maybe even giving them a few yards extra on that as well.
I thought the spot was a little bit short, Lance. Yeah. I agree. Or a little, they were very generous on the spot.
Nelson in the backfield, flanked by Roosevelt and Joyce. A receiver in the slot on the left. And this will be a fumble on the exchange, and I think Nelson may have fallen on it. Sugar thinks they've got it, and they do. And a mistake on the exchange from Nelson. And Roosevelt, I believe, was the guy he was trying to hold it off to. It was more like a read option to the left, and they never connected on the exchange, and the ball falls to the turf, and Sugar jumps on it, and the first big break of the game goes the way of the Diggers.
Well, and turnovers are going to be very important in a game like this that has the potential to be a very close game. Who gets the turnovers? What part of the field do you get those turnovers? Neither of these teams wants to give a short field to the other.
And Teton just gave the first short field to Sugar in a game where Teton can't afford to make many mistakes. They just made the first one. First down, tight formation. Handoff, picking his way through traffic and bulldozing through defenders is Carson Harris.
You know, the challenge that you have with Carson Harris, and we talked about the keys to the game, you got to meet him at the line, is that even when you meet him at the line like they did there, he's only about 5'6", and he's really, really thick. He's kind of like Deuce Vaughn. He's built a lot like Deuce Vaughn, who played for Kansas State, and of course is with the Dallas Cowboys now. But if you hit him high, his center of gravity's so low, at 200 pounds at only 5'6", he can still take you as long as he moves his feet.
Gain of about 7 on that play. It'll be 2nd down and 3 for Sugar. Again, tight formation for Chase. Under center, handoff, second man through. Again, that's Harris, and Harris bounces to the outside, has the first down, and brought down at the 21-yard line.
Oftentimes when they go to the right side and then get set up on the right hash mark, oftentimes you'll see them come back to the other side of the field with either Dawson McAnally on the next play or Big Red Tate Cutler. By the way, Big Red Tate Cutler, that nickname was given by me when he was just a 4th grader. My son played with them, and he showed up to practice with the messiest hair you'd ever seen in your life. Hadn't been cut for forever, and it is fiery red. So I nicknamed him Big Red the first time I ever met him, and it's just stuck through all these years.
Yeah, of course. First down, Sugar from the Teton 21-yard line. Chase now will work out of the gun. Read option, calls his own number, trying to bounce it out left. Teton in great pursuit. But there goes Chase making something out of nothing. Plants the left foot, heads up the field, and picks up about 4 yards.
Well, it was a smart choice to turn and to head up the field, because what had happened, you had your receivers, which were McAnally and Bosco on that side, that had headed deep on that. So there was nobody left to throw him a block on that outside if he needed it.
Line of scrimmage is the 17-yard line. And it's 2nd down and 6 for Sugar, trying to tie this thing up. They trail 6-0, 5.5 minutes to go. Opening quarter. Chase will work out of the gun this time. Option. The pitch to Bosco. Bosco inside the 15, close to that line to gain. It'll depend on the spot. He needed to get to the 11, and it looks like it's sitting right at the 11. The officials are going to take a closer look at this, and they give him a first down.
Of course, Bosco, that's a name you hear a lot in this area. So his dad is first cousins with Robbie Bosco, who, of course, played for he was the quarterback on BYU's 84 national championship team. But Josiah's brother just graduated from BYU last year, was a 4-year player on the football team there for BYU.
Oh, fun fact, remember Mark Wilson, quarterback there,
Of course.
Too? Cousin of mine.
Mark Wilson, gotta love. In fact, he was really kind of the second in line after Scheide of those great quarterbacks that came in that group.
First down from the 11. This is Chase trying to turn the corner. Left side, lowers the shoulder at the 8-yard line. Teton there defensively, short gain, and it'll be second down from the 8. Making the tackle, Zach Barkley.
You know, again, because of his speed, this is typically where you're going to see James Chase run the ball. However, we're also playing against a team that is one of the fastest teams in the state as well. And again, those corners are going to be tough to get. I think what you're going to have to look for as a runner is kind of little edges where you can cut up and go between guys at a time, because it's hard to hit the edge alone.
Well, we saw Chase do that a couple of plays ago where they were strung out to the sideline, but he planted and headed upfield, and you're absolutely right. Trips to the right of Chase now. Empty backfield. Chase looking that direction to throw. Out into the flat. Complete! And oh my, what a hit! It was Harris that took the pass in the flat, and Roosevelt said a how do you do at about the 7-yard line. Pancake tackle, and it's third down. And I tell you what, Harris could have stayed down, popped right back up.
Well, I've joked that he's built like a Weeble Wobble. Remember Weeble Wobbles when we were kids?
They don't fall down.
Weebles wobble, but they don't fall down. You know, that was the old ad, and that's the way Carson Harris is.
Logan's like over here going,
what?
I've
never heard of that. These guys are dinosaurs over here.
We are, and we're proud of that.
And we're the same age.
We are.
Class of 1988.
88. Rhymes with great. I mean, how better can it be?
Third down. Chase to throw to the end zone.
Cash Harris.
Touchdown, Sugar, Cash Harris. And that was a dangerous pass as it was in double coverage. Teton had defenders there, but it was Chase able to find the window to Cash Harris, and Sugar has tied it up at 3:41 to go.
Interesting family lines with Cash Harris. Of course, most people, particularly in Southeast Idaho and where you grew up at in Southern Idaho, Fred Trinkle is his uncle, and of course he coached CSI to a men's national basketball championship. Well, so Fred's wife and Cash Harris's dad are brother and sister, but they are 20 years apart.
Oh.
And so Fred Trinkle actually had a son that was the same age as Bart. So Bart was his uncle and grew up. But that's that family line coming. And, of course, Cash plays basketball as well.
Kind of feel like we need a family tree up here, and we can just trace all. Logan just over here scratching his head going, man, I didn't really think I was going to get into all of this 23
Lance,
and me
who's
stuff.
my grandma? Can you? How are we related, Lance?
Well, let's see. I got the family tree app right here on my phone.
Oh, that's true. We could actually do
you just
that.
wait till halftime. We're going to do a deep dive into the lineage of Logan Green.
Yeah. I am a direct descendant of Pocahontas, if anybody cares.
Are you?
Of course you are.
See, Scott and I, we are related by brainwaves. You know, other people are physically related. We're related by brainwaves.
You said what's better than 1988. 2008 is also great.
Yeah,
that was my graduation year.
I mean, there's only one 8 in that, but it's better than no 8.
Double great with the 8s.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, dude.
It's only 20 years after.
The extra point was up and good through all of that, and Sugar has taken the lead 7-6, 3:41 to go, opening quarter, and they will kick it off to Teton. And from the 8-yard line, this will be Joyce up that left side and out of bounds as he crosses the 30-yard line. Teton.
Well, and because of the passing prowess on their very first possession, speaking of Teton, and then with the fumble on the second possession, we haven't called Jack Joyce's name other than the special teams at this point. But he is a name because when they keep it in the backfield and they go between the tackles, it's typically Jack Joyce. If they go to the edges, typically Roosevelt.
Sugar capitalizing on the Teton fumble. Teton back out onto the field, first down from their own 32-yard line. 2 receivers left, 2 right. for Nelson. Nelson to throw, looks to his right, slips as he's thrown, gets it out to Roosevelt, but Roosevelt is decked immediately by Cash Harris.
It was actually Ryan Bingham.
Oh, Bingham.
That got in there. Big Ryan Bingham. He might be the best defensive end in the state at any school size. Well, he's also a state champion shot putter, and he is on a state championship cheer team as well.
Of course he is. 7-yard loss, and another negative play. As the read option, Nelson gets stuffed in the backfield. Good penetration by that defensive line of Sugar, and it's 3rd and forever for Teton.
Well, it was Carson Harris, the leading tackler on the team, came in and got him by the ankles. Ben Aldrich then comes over and ends up finishing off the play.
4 receivers into the formation on 3rd and long. Nelson to throw, looks to his left, fires it down the sideline. Is it complete? Another back shoulder throw, and it's incomplete, as that was just flirting with the out of bounds. And it was a nifty little back shoulder throw. We've seen Jack Nelson do that. He did that on the touchdown. This time, incomplete.
It was still catchable. You know, Ty Brown has sure hands. He's their big tight end out there. Of course, the center on their basketball team. Good friend of mine. His father's a good friend of mine. Ty is a 6'7" high jumper. His dad was a 6'8" high jumper, and his sister, Kinley, was one of the best track athletes to ever come out of the Mountain Rivers Conference.
Teton has to punt it away, and a great punt. This one will not be caught in the air, but scooped up at the 35 and out of bounds out across the 40.
Josiah Bosco. And you can look down at the sidelines and you can see the coaches waving, don't touch that, don't touch that.
And when that thing hit and bounced straight up in the air, I think Bosco saw his chance to make something out of it and picked up about 7-8 yards on the return.
When your coaches are calling you off of that and all your teammates, that's one of those that it better work in your favor. Because if it doesn't, there's a chewing waiting to happen on the sideline.
Well, we saw in that 5A game prior to this one, a lot of those punts get not returned, not even scooped up, and then it went about 20 yards on the bounce, and it shifted field position so much. So if you've got a return guy back there that's not afraid to save yourself 15, 20 yards, it does make a difference. Bosco did on the fortunate bounce there. Sugar on tight formation, 2 backs in the backfield. This will be the first man through, big hole. And that's going to be Carson Harris out across midfield, and a first down gain of 12 to the 45 of Teton.
Well, and the sophomore Joker Joyce, again, coach's son, right there. And I'll tell you what, if Joyce doesn't get that tackle, there's another 10, 15 yards coming in that.
Good job of that offensive line of Sugar to open up a big hole for Carson Harris. And Sugar on the move.
You know, one thing you'll notice about the Joyce brothers, of course, their dad's a coach, and they are very fundamentally sound. Kind of like a kid whose father's a basketball coach. You know they're going to be a good free throw shooter, you know, and that's the way fundamentals are for the Joyce family.
Chase under center. Second man through again. That's going to be Carson Harris. This time defensively, Teton able to stack him up after a gain of about 3.
You know, that's one of the challenges again for any line. You know, we see Carson run it and we look and say, well, that wasn't that great of a run, and he's still picking up 3 yards, you know?
Right.
You pick a few of those up, you know, every time, and if you go for it on 4th, it's always short. And so as far as Teton goes, not only do you have to meet Carson at the line, you've really got to stop him within a yard or so to make it an extremely effective defensive play.
Well, you do, because he's so good with the yak. Yards after contact is Harrison. Although he was hit right at the line of scrimmage, managed 3. Second down and 7, bunch formation, 2 backs in the backfield. And we're going to have a timeout taken by Sugar. We'll keep it right here.
Gateway Park in Idaho Falls is bringing the mountain to town this winter season. Gateway Park is a new tubing hill in Idaho Falls, located right by Ryder Park on Sunnyside Road, close to the freeway. It snows every day at Gateway Park. Great for families, kids, youth groups. Everyone will have fun at Eastern Idaho's newest tubing adventure. And I've already committed Logan Green to bring his family down during the winter time.
I'm in, Lance. Let's do it.
I'm excited for it. Let's do it during the Christmas break sometime.
Okay,
huh?
I got time.
With over 26 years of experience, Tony Wade with Farmers Insurance has the knowledge and experience to help you get the coverage you need for your auto, home, life, or business. Give him a call today at 208-354-8281 to get a straightforward and personalized quote. Tony Wade with Farmers Insurance wishes the Teton boys a good luck today. Of course, the name Wade, such a popular name when you get out in that valley. When it comes to basketball state championships, of course, the grandson went on and played for Gonzaga for a little while after Davis High School down in Utah. Eric Wade, the son, who's the father of that young man who played for Ricks College after Teton in the early 90s. Great group.
You're a walking encyclopedia, Lance.
My head is exploding right now. My ears are bleeding.
It's great.
I don't even know what's going on. Here we go. Sugar facing 2nd down and 7 in Teton territory. Another big hole and a big run. This time with the football is Dawson McAnally, and he broke a tackle to the end zone, touchdown. Boy, Dawson McAnally was stopped, broke out of the arm tackle, and then scooted to the end zone for another Digger touchdown.
Well, Caden Hastings had him for what we assumed was going to be just a routine tackle, and he ends up slipping out of it. Speaking of Teton, so his dad was also a graduate of Teton High School, has played there. Dawson McAnally, the junior, who was already committed to play baseball at what used to be Dixie State University, now Utah Tech, as 2 have committed to Utah Tech and 1 to BYU off that Sugar-Salem team, and they're just juniors.
And the extra point is good, and Sugar extends the lead. 54 seconds to go here in the opening quarter. It is 14-6 Diggers.
And Caden Hastings, Scott, did everything right defensively on that play, other than he just wasn't able to bring him down. Heartland AG Systems in Burley has you covered with the application equipment and product support that you need to be more productive. With products ranging from water wagons to tanks, Heartland AG has all you need for spraying and spreading. We are local Case IH application equipment experts, carrying a complete line of new and used equipment backed by our expert service and parts support team. Find out more by visiting our website at heartlandag.com. That's Heartland Ag Systems, your local Case IH dealer. Now, Logan, you want to get some more age for me and Scott?
Yeah, I'm ready.
When Scott and I were were kids, Case and International Harvester were 2 different companies back in the day, you know. Now
they're together.
We've got
it
that
seems
merger.
like almost every college game I listen to, it's the Case IH Red Zone. They sponsor that a lot. So glad to have them on, as well as Heartland Ag. They did every state championship game this year, so thanks to them.
We love our sponsors.
Little squib kick by Sugar. Bobbled and it finally fallen on at the 20. That could have been disaster for Teton, as Joyce able to corral it at the 20 before he was swarmed under by Digger defenders. Teton trailing 14-6, under a minute to go in the first quarter. We'll have it 1st and 10 at their own 20-yard line.
Teton's got to get back to the things that worked for them. And again, if Jack Nelson can continue to hit those passes, and the incomplete last time was not a bad pass. It had to be stretched to be gotten, but it was still a catchable pass. If he can do that, you're only down a score. Bring yourself right back into this ball game.
On 1st down, Nelson will hand it off to Joyce. Joyce kind of pinballing his way out across the 25 for a nice gain. Give him 7.
And Ammon Lee, who just checked back into the ball game again went down with the ACL tear. His father did the surgery, an orthopedic surgeon. They thought he'd be out through half of basketball season. He is playing today.
4 receivers in a bunch formation to the left of Nelson. Nelson straight back to throw. Flushed out of the pocket and swarmed under the 15, and down he goes.
And speaking of Ammon Lee, that's him right there. Gets that sack. We talked about his brother was a defensive end for 4 years for Utah State University. Of course, his dad's brother, his uncle Jared Lee, was inducted into BYU's top 50 football players to ever play in their program.
Big loss for Teton, and they cannot keep getting behind the sticks as the first quarter comes to a close. Teton will have it 3rd down and 14 when we return, but let's send it down to Paul Kingsbury on the sideline. Paul, what do you got?
All right, guys, I'm down here in the end zone, end of the first. Diggers 14, T-Wolves 6. I've been down here. I actually got a couple of pretty good shots of the last 2 touchdowns, so make sure to go to our Instagram page and check out the stories. But, guys, I'm sure you've noticed this, but you can tell that these 2 teams know each other and know each other well. You can see the anticipation during the play, during the runs. They almost know what each other are going to do before they do it, and that's going to make for a pretty exciting championship game for the next 3 quarters. Back up to you guys.
All right, thanks, Paul. Paul will be bringing us little nuggets throughout the game. First quarter comes to a close, 14-6, Diggers.
Franklin Building Supply is a proud supporter of local student athletes and all the building professionals in eastern Idaho. Their friendly and knowledgeable team are ready to help make your project a success from start to finish. Franklin Building Supply in Pocatello, certainly worth the trip.
Third down and 14 for Teton as we begin this second quarter. The ball on the T-Wolf 16-yard line. Empty backfield for Nelson. Straight back to throw. Has some time this time. Steps up, fires over the middle, and it's incomplete. A low throw. It was intended for number 32. That is Tyson Brown.
You know, of course, Ty, again, a great receiver. Let me tell you something. Some of the fans might look at this and say, well, that was a bad pass. That was a low pass by Nelson. That was actually an intentional low pass by Nelson because he knew throwing that, he had to throw it in a spot where if it's caught, only his receiver can catch it.
And that goes to show how good the coverage was for Sugar on that play. Forces a Teton punt, and the kick underway and fielded at the 47-yard line by Sugar. And that is Bosco who gets into T-Wolf territory to the 42, where Sugar will have another short field here in the second quarter.
Brought down by Ty Brown, who was the receiver on that incompletion before. Ty, just a great athlete. And we'll probably call his brother, who gets quite a bit of time too, the sophomore Bradley. Bradley last year as a freshman also qualified for the state track and field championships and medaled as a freshman last year in the high jump.
How about that?
Guys, Sugar had 93 yards on the ground in that first quarter. They are on pace to get almost 400 yards on the ground if they can keep it up.
Sugar with the football at the Teton 42, 1st and 10. Split backs behind Chase. Handoff, right side, and that is going to be Tate Cutler inside the 35 and a gain of 9 on 1st down.
You know, that was a situation that I think Sugar learned that the edges were going to be tough to get to today. So Tate, Big Red Tate Cutler, rather than trying to hit that edge, he slowed down a little bit coming off of that because he knew if I want to get yardage on this, it's not going to be a foot race to the edge. I'm going to have to follow my blockers and pick up a few yards that way.
And 9 yards on 1st down brings up 2nd down and 1 for Sugar from the Teton 33-yard line.
Had a brother a couple years ago that was, of course, a big fullback for Sugar as well on that state championship team 3 full seasons ago, now on an LDS mission for a couple years.
Chase under center on 2nd and 1. Handoff. This is going to be a 1st down. Carson Harris down to the 25-yard line.
44 has been a big Harris number. That was his father Eric's number growing up as well. But Carson had to wait a little while to do it. He had to wait till his junior year after his brother graduated to take over that number 44. And I believe he was 41 before that time.
I think he wears that in baseball too.
He does.
When he plays.
Actually, he does.
Oh, look at you chime in.
Well, I've done the past 2 years. I've done Sugar's baseball.
Okay.
They've been right. They're like right on the cusp of a state championship in baseball.
See, Logan knows it. Logan's like the footnote down at the bottom of the page.
Yeah,
you know,
it is.
He has that. He's got that thing down.
1st down.
False start.
And we're going to have a whistle before the snap. Penalty flags.
I think that was Carson Harris actually took off a little early in the backfield, anticipating going up that A gap on the left side.
And it is a false start called against Sugar. March them back 5. And it will be 1st down and 15. Line of scrimmage, the Teton 30. 14-6 is your score. Diggers on top. Looking for more on this drive at the 10:26 mark of the second quarter.
You know, so many good athletes on both these teams. You look at Teton, and you look what they're going through as a sports program right now. They're going to have a great basketball team this year. Of course, their girls have a great basketball program. Nobody's touched them yet this year either. Same with Sugar's girls. This conference is going to be a lot of fun during the winter as well.
Chase working out of the gun, fires Bosco left side. He's got it complete, breaks a tackle. Inside the 20 he goes. Short of the 1st down, but a nice gain. And it'll be 2nd down and a couple left for Sugar.
You know, I'm surprised that Teton didn't come up on that a little bit. That's kind of been a staple of Sugar this year through a scouting report is when they get a penalty, particularly on 1st down, and it moves them back to 15, they do a little drop pass to Bosco for about 2 or 3 yards out ahead of the line of scrimmage and then let him run after catch.
Line of scrimmage is the 17-yard line of Teton. It's 2nd down and 2 for the Diggers. Chase brings them to the line under center. This time, 2 backs in the backfield. Quick hitter, Carson Harris. Carson Harris inside or close to the 10-yard line. And a first down for Sugar.
Great leading block that time by big number 51, Clark Sidaway. Clark Sidaway, one of those 300-pounders, and he just followed him up.
Give Harris 5 yards on the run, a first down, and they'll mark him down at the 12-yard line. So first down for Sugar at the 12. They can get a first down at the 2.
James Chase, the quarterback for the Diggers. Of course, he's entertaining offers right now for baseball. He is a great pitcher on that team. His father was the quarterback for Ryrie High School here in Idaho.
On first down, this is going to be Cutler, left side, big hole. Cutler finding his way to the end zone, touchdown.
And I think he got there. This is going to come back. I think he got there because of a hold on Braden Pocock, number 50.
Yep. And there's a flag on the field. Holding is the call against Sugar. Bring it back. He was toting that rock through a big giant hole, and the hole was there for a reason.
Yeah, you saw you saw number 50, Braden Pocock, and he kind of looked around after like, I hope no official saw that. But you could just see it. You know, these new jerseys, these supplemented jerseys or digital supplemented jerseys, these things stretch like a mile. You know, back when we were young, it was going to tear that jersey. You know,
Yeah.
These ones now, and you could see that jersey kind of stretch back.
The penalty will push the line of scrimmage back to the 22-yard line. 1st and 20 from the 22. Chase will work out of the shotgun. Flanked by Harris to his right. Rolling to his right is Chase. Chase fires. He's got a man open at the goal line. It's caught. Touchdown, Sugar.
Tate Cutler. Big Red.
22-yard touchdown pass. Chase to Cutler.
Well, and what had to happen on that play in order for that to be a touchdown? You know, we talk about the speed of Thomas Hoosevelt, and defensively, Hoosevelt had to decide whether he was going to cover that tight end who then came up into the middle from the left side, and he bid on that for just about a step. Once he did that, that gave Cutler up enough room. Otherwise, Hoosevelt's there for the defense.
And the extra point by Tykert is good. 8:36 to go in the second quarter. 21-6. Diggers extend the lead.
Taylor Chevrolet is proud to support Sugar-Salem Athletics. Taylor Chevrolet has been serving the Upper Valley for over 90 years. That's older than you and me, Scott. With excellent service and stellar sales team, Taylor Chevrolet is the home of oil changes for life. That's right. Buy any new or used vehicle and never worry about your oil again. Taylor Chevrolet is your Southeast Idaho auto dealer with a wide selection of Chevy, Cadillac models. Come in today. Get the vehicle you want with oil changes for life. Stop by their Rexburg location or visit them at www.taylorchev.com. And of course, you go in there, you ask for my good friend Blake Harris, and Blake's going to take care of you. And you know what else we got to talk about? There's one of the greatest eating places in Southeast Idaho. And you've got to go if you haven't been there. Blisters Barbecue, rated by one of the food magazines. Who was it?
I thought it was Food Network.
I think it was Food Network as one of the top 10 barbecue places to eat in the entire United States of America. And it was in a gas station, and they just opened up another one at Teton Lakes Golf Course.
Okay, look, I'm from North Carolina, and I'm very picky about barbecue. I typically don't eat it. I'll wait till after this kickoff.
Picked up at the 25, Teton. Out across the 30, and on the return is Max Atchley. And Teton's going to have to find an answer here. They are down 21-6, but I want to hear more about your North Carolina barbecue.
I don't eat it. I'm like, I can make it myself. Look, I'm snobby when it comes to. I'm snooty. And I remember when this Blisters opened, they came around. I was a student at BYU Idaho, and they were giving out samples, and I'm like, no thanks. And they're like, oh, this is actually North Carolina vinegar sauce. I stood straight up. And I said, I'll have a bite of that. And that's still the only barbecue place that I will eat outside of North Carolina is Blisters.
Oh, their tri-tips are unreal.
And here's a big hole on the first play for Teton. Off to the races is Jack Joyce. Nobody's going to touch him. And that was the answer that Teton needed.
We talk about Thomas Hoosevelt being such a sprinter that he is. You cannot forget that Jack Joyce also qualified in the 100 and 200 meter last year for the state track and field championship.
One play, and we were just getting ready to talk about how Teton needed something, and they got it. One play, 68 yards, and Joyce is in the end zone. And Teton will go for 2. Nelson to throw, and it's knocked away at the line of scrimmage. I think getting a hand on it was number 66, Ryan Bingham. And it remains a 2-score game, 21-12. That was a big knockdown because 21-12 is 9 points, and they could have cut it to 8, but hey, nonetheless, Teton needed a strike. They got it. Joyce delivered. 8:21 to go, second quarter, 21-12.
And by knocking that pass down for Bingham, that makes it a 2-possession game as well, which is important for the defense. Your community health center is proud to support our local athletes and keep them healthy. That's Grand Peaks Medical Center. They want to do it on their way to the state titles. Grand Peaks, located in St. Anthony and Rexburg, provides affordable medical, dental, behavioral health, and pharmacy services for the entire family. Their health care providers and staff are highly trained and experienced in all areas of primary medicine, obstetrics, family dentistry, behavioral health, and prescription services. Grand Peaks is committed to establishing a personal relationship with each and every patient and providing affordable health care for your family. GrandPeaks.org online is where you can go for a full list of services. Good luck, Diggers, from all the staff at Grand Peaks, and I can give a personal shout out to them because that's where I go and I take my family. Dr. Curtis right there, Grand Peaks Medical.
God, I kind of feel like
poor Dr. Curtis
at a Lance Taylor family reunion right now.
He's technically not family, but he went to Teton High School as well.
Of course he did. Sugar on the return. That's Bosco from the 5, and Bosco horse collar down at the 32. Boy, that was an impressive return as Bosco scooped it up at the 5. Really didn't have anywhere to go on that far side, cut it back, and headed up the right sideline. And then drug down at the 32 from the back of the jersey. No call on the tackle.
Well, it wasn't a horse count call. He just got the jersey, but it was a great tackle by Aiden Millard, because had Millard have not got his hand on the top of that jersey, that was probably going to be a touchdown.
Yeah, Bosco was ready to hit the next gear down that sideline, but a great tackle for Teton. And let's see what Sugar does. From their own 32-yard line, they've got it 1st and 10, 8:11 to go here in the second quarter. Trips to the left for Chase. Harris, the lone setback, flanked to his left. Working out of the gun. Chase, option left towards that trip side. Pitches to Harris. Harris drops the football. Ball is still loose. Scramble for it at the 40-yard line. Let's see who comes up with it.
I think this is Teton. If Sugar got it, it was Ryan Bingham. But if not, it's staying.
I tell you what, there was a fight at the bottom, and it was Caden Dolling that came away with it. He wrestled it away from the bottom of the pile from a Teton Timberwolf, as Teton had an opportunity, and after all of that, it's going to be about a 6-yard gain.
Well, Harris never got control of that pitch, and because that pitch was backwards, that's if you don't get control of that, that's a fumble. That's a live ball.
Fortunate break for Sugar, unfortunate for Teton, as the T-Wolves are going to need a few of those to go their way. Second down, split backs, handoff. Harris, first man through, breaks one tackle and up to midfield into Teton territory, and a first down for the Diggers. More yards after contact for Carson Harris.
Well, and Harris was really upset when he got up from that. He looked right at the official because he got face masked.
He did.
Face masked by the first guy that grabbed him. But looking at where the officials were on the field, you can see how they didn't see that. It was just kind of at a funny angle that we could see from sitting up high. And so it wasn't something where they were just just missed a call out of laziness. They were in position. It was just a tough angle to see that from the field.
Under 7 minutes to go. Sugar at the Teton 48-yard line. They've got it 1st and 10. Bunch formation, 2 backs behind Chase. This is going to be the second man through, and this is going to be McAnally. McAnally scored the touchdown earlier, just kind of fights his way for about 3 yards is all to the 45-yard line.
You know, that was a good defensive play. When you look at number 52 who came out, Jackson Hatch, this is why it's important. You hear so many defensive coordinators say, stay home. Don't bite on when the guy comes inside. He never bit on the fake up the middle. He stayed home, and he was there for the tackle on McAnally, or that could have been even more yards. Just a great defensive play by Jackson Hatch.
And that's what Sugar likes to do sometimes, is just kind of stretch the field, get you to bite, and turn the corner. And that time, defensively, Teton came through. Second down, Chase to throw. He's got a man open inside the 40, and a first down as the pass was complete to Bosco. And you talked about that earlier, Lance, is they're playing a little bit too much cushion off of Bosco. He just runs about 5 yards down the field, sits down, and has the ball delivered.
Well, it was a great tackle by Zach Barkley, the senior. Zach came over, and Zach's got to be giving up about 25 pounds on Bosco, and he brought him right down on that. He hit him up between the pads and just brought him down on that. Or again, Bosco will go and he'll sit there, but where he does his most damage is the yard after catch.
Bosco picks up the first down. Line of scrimmage now, the 32 of Teton. Same formation, split backs. Handoff. This is going to be Cutler trying to turn corner left side. Breaks one tackle, gets inside the 30, spinning around. Flags come flying everywhere as Cutler goes out of bounds at the 24-yard line.
Yeah, I think of all the calls we've seen in the tournament, that is probably the most obvious of a face mask. That's going to tear the helmet off. Now, this is what we've got to see as well, because once a helmet comes off, remember, you cannot advance the ball. So we got to see. Of course, it's a penalty, but we got to see if they mark the penalty off from where the helmet came off or from where he eventually went out of bounds.
And the officials are talking about it now, and it looks like they're going to mark it off from where they stopped Cutler. Either way, it's
down
gonna,
to the 12.
I mean, it was going to be a first down either way. Right. It's just where they're going to mark it off from, because see, in college ball, if that happens, it's back to where the helmet came off, because you cannot advance the ball after that point, which again is going to be a first down, but just where it's spotted is just a little bit different.
So now from the 12-yard line, Sugar-Salem will operate. 1st and 10. Chase under center. Harris and Cutler, the setbacks behind him. This will be Cutler. Cutler cuts it up inside the 10, down at the 9. Tackle by number 66 for Teton. That's Garrett Toome.
Well, and Seth Stevens, and this isn't something that shows up into a book, but or at least into the stats. Number 50, Seth Stevens, had the beat on him, but there was a hole, and he knew he couldn't get him. So what he does is he angles him, makes him change direction, angles him up to where he's got some help defensively.
From the 8-yard line after the gain of 4. 2nd down and 6 for Sugar. One receiver split right way out. Bosco single covered on the outside. Chase, play action. He's going to look Bosco's way. Actually, he's not going to go to the flat. Bosco was open in the back of the end zone, but he comes underneath to Cutler, and Cutler shut down immediately right at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
Well, and I'll tell you what, Sugar's fortunate to get back to the line of scrimmage. I thought you could have maybe justified a yard or two loss on that play. He did fall forward a little bit, but the hit was fantastic.
Well, they sent Bosco isolated out here to the right. He ran a little corner route, and underneath came Cutler, and Bosco broke free. And I think if Chase would have held on to the ball just a little bit longer, he would have had Bosco alone in the back of the end zone.
Yeah, and Roosevelt picked up Bosco, and it ended up being Aiden Millard that came up and made the tackle.
3rd down and 6 from the 8. The pass to the corner of the end zone, incomplete. Intended for McAnally, and Chase unable to hit him, and it'll be 4th down, and this is a huge play for Teton defensively.
And this for Sugar, this is kind of at that edge of that field goal range. Their kicker, another soccer player who had started the season with them, ended up with some injuries, wasn't able to finish the season. So the sophomore Tykert, who's very accurate but still working with strength for the leg, he comes in, and this is kind of that distance that's a little iffy.
Well, Sugar's going to take a timeout, and they're going to think about what they want to do here on 4th down, 3:48 to go. Timeout on the field.
ProPete fertilizer is an enviro-friendly product that reduces leaching. ProPete can help replace organic matter back into the soil. ProPete-bound nutrients release when plants need them. Carbon 90 plus binds nutrients to the natural carbon of peat moss. encouraging steady plant growth for healthier turf with less mowing and thatch. ProPete is a great product for turf and ornamental applications. Uses range from lawns and gardens to shrubs and trees. ProPete wants to wish the diggers good luck. Gateway Park in Idaho Falls is bringing the mountain to town this winter season. Gateway Park is a new tubing hill in Idaho Falls located right by Ryder Park on Sunnyside Road close to the freeway. It snows every day. Gateway Park, great for families, kids, youth groups. Everyone will have fun this time at Eastern Idaho's newest tubing adventure. You know, something on that ProPete as well. The Pococks who own that have always stood up and been a great sponsor for Idaho Sports. They've donated money to various different events. Shout out to ProPete Fertilizer.
4th down, and Sugar keeps the offense on the field. Direct snap, and they try a little trickeration, and this is going to be Cutler to the end zone. Touchdown, and I tell you what, that play just about got blown up by Joker Joyce, but Cutler somehow managed to hold on to that double reverse, turn the corner, and get to the goal line. Boy, that was close to disaster for Sugar.
I thought Teton was going to pick off the pitch and take it back the other way.
I thought he had it.
I did too. I thought he had. That's one of those where you stop and say, well, what's going on here?
Just to recreate what happened, it was 4th down, and the handoff went to the right side, and from the receiver slot position, here came Cutler on the double reverse, and Joker Joyce was in the backfield, and we all kind of thought maybe Joyce just took the handoff.
Yeah.
But somehow Cutler was able to come away with it, sprint his way to the end zone, and another 6 points on the board for the Diggers on a strange play, and the extra point is good. 3:41 to go, and the Diggers extend the lead 28-12.
Well, and I'll tell you what, something on that. Dawson McAnally walked off a little gingerly. He made that final block for that touchdown to get in, so we got to keep a little eye on McAnally, who's getting attended to on the sideline. Fall River Propane serves Eastern Idaho from Shelley and Firth to Island Park and Teton Valley with the highest quality, hottest burning propane at competitive prices. Our industry-trained and certified service staff services all makes and models of propane fireplaces and stoves. Fall River Propane is your full-service propane provider for homes and businesses. Check them out at fallriverpropane.com or call anytime at our new phone number, 833-682-3671. That's 833-682-3671. Fall River Propane. Experience the difference. And since 1963, Harold Harris Construction has been a family-owned and operated construction business serving all of the southeast Idaho and western Wyoming. Harold Harris Construction proudly supports Sugar-Salem athletics and wishes the boys good luck tonight. And they say go Diggers. And of course, Harold Harris was a great loss to the community of Sugar-Salem over this last year. Both him and his wife passed away, and he has been such a staple in that community.
Teton fields the kickoff at the 10-yard line. This is Hujevelt, and boy, he's on the loose down the left sideline, still on his feet. Nobody's going to catch him to the end zone. Hujevelt with the answer. Teton wastes no time. Holy cow!
What a run by Hujevelt! And as we talked earlier, and we said one of the places where they can take advantage, we talked about the deep pass. The other one we talked about is they'd love to get it in Husevelt's hands in special team situations because they feel when he runs it that they have a legitimate opportunity for something just like that to happen.
95 yards on the kickoff return from Thomas Husevelt. And I tell you what, Teton just refusing to go away as they have come up with a couple of big plays to not let Sugar extend too far ahead of them.
If they get the 2-point conversion here, they pull back in within one score. Remember, Sugar does get the ball to start half number 2, but for Teton, you've got to punch in this 2-point conversion.
So going for 2. Out of the gun, Nelson flanked by Joyce to his right. Man in motion. Play action. Nelson calls his own number into the end zone. 2-point conversion is good. And that is what Teton needed. It's a one-score game. 3:26 to go. We'll step away and be right back to Holt after this.
Make the memories of this game last a lifetime. By downloading the digital game file of this contest, you can have your own personal copy of this game forever. These make great gifts for the student athletes involved. Just click the Order Now button for more details.
Right back here at Holt Arena, Scott Burton alongside Lance Taylor, Logan Green, and Paul Kingsbury somewhere down on the sideline. We haven't heard from him in a while. But we've got a ball game here with 3:26 to go here before the break. 28-20 is your score. Teton refusing to go away, coming up with big play after big play. On the kickoff, Sugar and Bosco will return it. This one from the 2-yard line. Bosco out across the 20 to the 21, and that's where Sugar will set up the offense.
You talk about the big plays from Teton. They've got a 68-yard touchdown pass from Nelson, a 76-yard touchdown rush from Joker Joyce, and then the 95-yard touchdown run from Roosevelt. Everything's been a big play. All 3 of their touchdowns have come from at least 68 yards.
Big tackle that time by number 69, the senior Waylon Fry, who came up and made that, and the thing is, what he did so nice is Bosco tried to juke him a little bit with a step, and he just stayed right there. Eventually, Bosco just ran right into him.
Sugar with the offense back out on the field. First down from their own 21-yard line. 2 backs behind Chase. First man through. Harris following his blocker, and Harris into the secondary up to the 35-yard line. Gain of 14.
Right now, it's just that consistency with Harris when you give him the ball. He's going to be a big hole next year. And they have some good kids stepping up into those spots. But to have a Carson Harris that you just know, hey, we're going to give him this ball. He's going to pick up 3 to 5 yards every time. And then every so often he's going to break one right that. He's not a great open field runner, meaning he can get chased down. He doesn't have that kind of speed, but he's very quick side to side and right ahead.
Same formation, same result. Harris with another big run. Gain of 11 out to the 45.
And on the tackle that time again is Thomas Roosevelt. And I'll tell you what, Roosevelt, he's been in on a lot today. A lot of those tackles. We see with Roosevelt defensively for Teton what we see kind of defensively for Sugar with Carson Harris, where they'll step up and kind of make those important plays. Difference is Harris linebacker in the secondary is Roosevelt a lot of time, of course, lined up as an outside linebacker right here.
Sugar first down from their own 46. This will be Harris again, but he runs right into the arms of Jake Allen.
What a tackle by Jake Allen, the senior.
Allen limits Harris to just a yard on the play to be second down and 9. And this becomes a really important drive here for both of these teams because just like you mentioned, Lance, Sugar's going to get the kickoff to start the second half. Sugar with the football here, if they can score, can get a 2-for-1.
That's
and
right.
That is huge. Teton, they know it. They've got to come up with a stop here as we're under 2 minutes to go in the half. Second down and 9 for Sugar. Chase works out of the gun, back to pass. Slant complete to Bosco, and there defensively is Roosevelt making the play after a gain of about 2 is all.
And I'll tell you what, if that had been a jam at the line by Roosevelt, he might have been in a position to pick that off.
And now it's going to be third down and long. 3rd and 7 upcoming for Sugar. Line of scrimmage, their own 49-yard line. Clock continues to move. 1:20 to go. Sugar and Chase working out of the gun, empty backfield, and it looks like we're going to have a timeout on the field. This one taken by Teton.
I like that play. That's one, or the timeout called there. I think that's one of the biggest. This is a huge, like Lance just said, a huge moment in this game. You got to make a stop. Yesterday in the 1A D1 championship, there was a huge play at the end of the half that really changed the momentum of the game. Butte County returned a fumble back for a touchdown. The last 2 minutes of a half can determine who wins the state championship.
Oh, there's no question about it. I mean, I've coached for basketball, football the whole long time, and we've always preached the same thing. The end of quarters, the end of halves are where you can really do some damage. And right now, the importance of this drive is huge. I mean, just imagine if Sugar were to score here and go up 35-20, get the opening kickoff, march it down. Next thing you know, it's 42-20.
That's a different game.
And it is completely different. But Teton gets the stop here.
Well, you know what, and this tells you how important these scores have been for Teton. The most points ever put up on a Digger team this year was 21 by Timberlake 2 weeks ago, and that was a full game. This is halftime. 20 points put up by Timberlake.
Third down and 7.
By the Timberwolves.
Third down and 7 for Sugar. A big play in this game upcoming from the 49. Bosco split out wide right. Out of the gun is Chase. He looks Bosco's direction, and he makes the catch. Bosco does at the 45, falls ahead, picks up the first down. By a yard, needed 7, got 8.
And again, we see what Bosco does. You mentioned earlier that he just goes and kind of hunkers down in a spot. What he does, you notice his last step before he turns and hunkers down. It's a big step. He steps that defender off, gets him back about an additional 2 yards so they don't give up something deep, and it leaves him open.
Fresh set of downs for the Diggers. Trips to the left of Chase. Harris flanked to the left of Chase. Chase to throw, rolls to his right, looking downfield, can't find anybody and has to throw it away.
Yeah, he was hoping to have Bosco downfield, but the defense was fantastic that time by Teton. There was no separation for Bosco. He made a good move, and it was actually Jack Joyce on the defensive coverage that time.
And we've got a flag sitting at the 37-yard line. Let's check the call.
I didn't see it. Whatever it was thrown for, I didn't see it because I was looking kind of downfield at the matchup with Joyce and Bosco.
And we still haven't gotten an indication from the white hat, and he's walking over to the Sugar sideline to explain something. They're waving off the flag, whatever it was.
Okay.
Did not happen. And so it will be 2nd down and 10 for the Diggers at the Teton 42-yard line.
Well, and typically the sideline they walk towards is the one that benefited from the flag because they usually ask if they want to keep it or decline it in that scenario, but I didn't see anything take place.
Yeah. 2nd down and 10, Sugar. Again, Chase working out of the gun. Harris flanked to his left. 2 receivers to the left side, 1 in the slot to the right. Chase to throw straight back, stands at midfield, now flushed out of the pocket to his left. Looking to just fire it down the field and has to throw it away again. Good defense on the back end by Teton.
Well, and in the pursuit at that time was Ty Brown. And, Ty's a fast kid as well. We talked about him being a high jumper. Well, he's also a fast kid on the track team as well. Not, a 100 qualifier or anything like that. But basically it was a foot race. And if you don't have a receiver open, your field becomes awfully small the closer you get to the sidelines.
And this is a big 3rd down, 3rd and 10. Sugar from the Teton 42-yard line.
And they're going to try to get Bosco in single coverage against Joyce. They're coming over to pick up that double coverage on Cash Harris on the right side.
They got Bosco isolated left side. Back to pass is Chase. He's flushed to his right away from Bosco, but he completes the pass to the 35-yard line. And he's going to be short of the first down by about a yard or 2. As he was knocked out at the 34, making the catch was McAnally, and it will be 4th down and 2 for Sugar. Big play.
Yeah, and this is going to be a go for it for sure because you figure even if you punt this based upon the return or if it goes in the end zone, you're not giving up that much yardage one way or the other.
4th down and 2 for Sugar from the Teton 34. 48 seconds to go. This is a huge play for momentum for both of these teams. Under center is Chase. Back split behind him. Long count as now Chase will look to the sideline and Coach Richens gets some instructions, and the penalty flag comes flying in from the back judge as if they took too long, and they did. And the Diggers did have one timeout to burn, and they didn't take it.
And that's a coaching challenge right there. You've got to be aware of that. You see the count taking place from the officials. You see the account taking place.
And 4th and 2 just turned into 4th and 7.
Now do you change your mind on this? I would.
Well, it turns from what is pretty surely either a Carson Harris run between the tackles or a James Chase run on the A-gap on the right side to probably a pass play that you've struggled in this particular series.
Well, look for Bosco. He has been the go-to guy when they needed him the most, and he's split out wide to the right. 2 receivers to the right, empty backfield for Chase. Chase straight back, looks for the slant, nothing happening. It closes up, but somehow there's Cutler open to the 25-yard line. And a first down for Sugar on what was a broken play that Chase kept alive. Sugar on the move. They've got a timeout. They're choosing not to take it. Quickly to the line, under center, and Chase spikes the ball to stop the clock with 37 seconds left.
You know, the first check down receiver was supposed to be Carson Harris on that play. Carson was wide open on the left side due to where the pocket started to collapse at. He was not able to get a vision on that left side, and he was fortunate to have Cutler, who ran his route to the right, stepped off his defender, comes back to the middle, almost like a slot receiver, but that wasn't his initial route.
Yeah, Chase was ready just to tuck it and run it up the middle, and as he got to the line of scrimmage, he saw Cutler standing there at the 35 and was able to complete the pass.
Well, Sugar was about a half yard from having an illegal lineman downfield on that, so he was fortunate to get it off.
Second down and 10 from the 25-yard line. Chase rolling to his left by design, in trouble, and down he goes at the 36. Making the tackle is guess who? Number 12, Thomas Roosevelt.
We've talked about him all game long. Both sides of the ball is Roosevelt, and the thing is, you can only hold that tackle or that block for so long. Eventually, he's going to come off of it.
And the speed of Roosevelt getting into the backfield and chasing down James Chase. And that is a big loss on the play, and Sugar is forced to burn their final timeout of the half. 30 seconds left on the clock before we head to the break, but the loss pushes the line of scrimmage out to the 35-yard line, where it will be third down and 20 for Sugar and no timeouts. So what do you do here?
You know, if you're Sugar, I think you're going to come out throwing the ball. And what you're going to do, I think you're going to run that spread, and then you might run a single in the backfield, which will be Carson Harris for blocking purposes on that. Because the pocket's been breaking down a little bit. What you're going to try to do, you're probably going to try to get either Bosco or Tate Cutler in single coverage, one on the right, one on the left.
Sugar on 3rd and 20 will send two receivers to the right side. The receiver split furthest out is Bosco, the guy they've looked to. This is Harris in the backfield, flank to the right of Chase. Chase to pass. Straight back, looking deep down the sideline, in coverage, and it's knocked away. He was going down the left side, intended for Cash Harris, but Teton was there defensively, double covered, knocked it down. It'll be 4th and 20.
Yeah, Teton played a prevent defense that time and moved Max Ashley back. And because, you know, in that prevent, basically what you're doing is you're saying, listen, guys, we're going to give you 10 yards if you want it. We'll give you that play, but we're not going to give you a touchdown on a single pass.
23 seconds on the clock. Clock is stopped after the incompletion, and it's 4th down and 20. And this is where, if you're Sugar, you're just going to throw one down the field and hope your playmaker makes a play. And Teton desperately needs to get this stop. 4th and 20 from the 35. Out of the gun is Chase. Straight back, looks down the middle of the field and into coverage. Knocked away. They were looking for, I believe that was Cutler.
Yeah, and Jack Joyce with the defensive assignment.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joyce just knocked it down. And with 17 seconds left and a couple of timeouts, that'll send the Teton offense back out onto the field.
Yeah, and I think you look at this, and if you're Teton, if you're the coaching staff talking to your team, you say, guys, we got a couple huge plays going for us here in this first half. Let's go back out there. Let's pick up a third big play before we go into the half. Could you imagine how big a score right here would be for Teton?
Oh, boy.
I don't have time of possession, but look at my offensive stat sheet for Teton. That's it. All their scores have been such big plays, they've hardly had the ball. 17 seconds.
Yeah.
That's plenty of time.
Yeah. Nelson to throw, nobody in the backfield, looks down the middle, nothing happening, and now he's got to tuck it and run. Out across the 35 to the 38, 10 seconds. Let's see if Teton burns a timeout, and they do. With 8 seconds to go and a gain of only 3 on the run by Nelson, the clock stops 8 seconds.
You know, when you look at the schedules of these teams this year, you had Teton. Of course, they always play Jackson Hole. You know, that's a big rivalry of theirs. Both of them reside in different states. Just the pass separates them. And interestingly enough, both of them live in Teton County, just in the different states. They played Marsh Valley, West Jefferson, American Falls, Snake River, South Fremont, and then, of course, Meeker, Colorado. Now, Meeker would be about a 2A school here, but there was a hitch in a few people's schedules this year because Salmon was scheduled to play a number of teams but did not fill the varsity this year. Was only able to have a JV team. So they were forced to pick up Meeker, Colorado, and, of course, that affected South Fremont out of the Mountain Rivers Conference because their homecoming game was supposed to be against Salmon. They couldn't get a team scheduled, so they ended up playing Bonneville's JV and beating Bonneville's JV 30-0 for their homecoming this year. Just kind of a side note.
Well, how about that? That's only the first side note I've heard all half, Logan.
That's it.
I wish Lance would do something.
It was just kind of a side note.
Scott, stop pulling your weight here.
7 seconds to go. Nelson sacked at the 30, and that's going to be how the first half ends. But what a first half it was. And as both teams head to the locker room, you've got to be having a little bit of pep in your step and swagger if you are the Teton T-Wolves, because you are hanging around with the Diggers, who have dominated everybody this season. 28-20 is your halftime score. We'll step away and be right back with the halftime show, the halftime stats, right after this.
As Idahoans, we're not afraid to take risks.
All the way, all the way. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
This is not what I asked for.
Once again, we have contributed to your ideal college savings program. Love, Grandma and Grandpa.
Give the gift of college savings this holiday season with Ideal, Idaho's 529 college savings program. Eventually, they'll appreciate it.
I love it. Thank you.
College costs money.
Dear Exit Strategy, all your pieces are in place. Thanks for being there when I need you most. Always Toyota SUVs. Toyota. Let's go places.
I am Kevin, and I'm from Idaho Falls. It's important for the disabled to be vaccinated because of COVID. I chose to be vaccinated because I didn't want to be sick or in the hospital. Getting the vaccination, my experience was painless and worth it. It was a very wise choice.
Former regional champ and back in training.
That's commitment.
Ow.
Oh, tough start. This is not as easy as it used to be, folks.
And she's off, obviously pushing through some pain.
Every muscle is begging her to stop. How's she doing this?
I'm not even sure she knows.
Look at her go. And stop.
Come on.
And go again.
It's literally the home stretch. Whoa.
She made it. Feel the elation.
What fuels that kind of fire?
Idaho Sports Nation, Ideal, Idaho's education savings program, is a proud partner of IdahoSports.com and an ideal way to save for college. Did you know it only takes $25 to start an Ideal 529 savings account and you get tax benefits? There is no better time than today to start saving for college expenses for you or for a loved one. Information and a full disclosure statement, including risks, terms, and conditions, can be found online. Please read carefully before investing. idsaves.org. Go save for college and go Idaho student athletes.
We're Valley-wide cooperative. For 100 years, we've been your first choice for residential and commercial propane, fuels, oils, and lubricants. We service HVAC, install water heaters, propane tanks, and accessories. And yes, we'll even deliver right where you need it. Because for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valleywide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow. We're here for you.
Vaping sucks you in quick, and the more you vape, the harder it is to quit. Not to mention all the chemicals and health problems. That's why thousands of teens are joining My Life, My Quit. Visit mylifemyquit.com or text Start My Quit to 36072.
Dear Detour, you asked us to measure up. So yeah, we did. When life slings you mud, sling it right back. Stay strong. Toyota Trucks.
Toyota. Let's go places.
Folks, I've got good news and bad news. Bad news? You just took that selfie with poison ivy. Good news, someone gets to use their coverage from Your Health Idaho.
Quality coverage for as low as $0 a month.
We do things differently in Idaho. Sometimes we go east to find west, where muddy trails meet huckleberry smiles. Stars shine electric, and the wind smells like destiny. Sure, our traffic jams are strange, and not all our steaks are ribeyes. But wherever we go, our eyes never leave the road. Belts strapped and dreams packed, no distractions, no phones, focused. From here to there, it's who we are.
Well, welcome to the Idaho Launch Halftime Show. Did you know current Idaho high school seniors are eligible for up to $8,000 in grant money? Apply today. Idaho Launch, support in every direction. And speaking of every direction, the stat line is all over the place because if you look at these stats, like you mentioned off air, you would think Sugar is blowing out Teton, but that isn't the case. Let's go to the stats, Lance.
Well, this shows you what big plays can do in any ball game. Big plays have the opportunity to keep you in ball games, and we talked about potentially one of the weaknesses for Sugar, long passing and special teams play. Now, they did give up the one long run from scrimmage, but other than that, they've given up hardly anything from scrimmage. And then they had the long pass that led to a touchdown on the following play, and then they had the long special teams return by Roosevelt. And so, you know, that just shows you what that can do. Because when you look at Jack Nelson, he's got 6 rushes on the afternoon, but only minus 25 yards for those 6 rushes. You know, 6 rushes minus 25. It doesn't feel like that. Yeah, Jack Joyce, he has 76 yards, but 68 of those came on that one long run that he ended up scoring on as well. Roosevelt has 1 rush for 4 yards. And usually Roosevelt's a guy that can hit the edge and be able to do that. On the receiving side, you got Burke Nelson with a touchdown, Caden Hastings with a touchdown, Thomas Roosevelt with a touchdown. But you got to remember, Burke Nelson had that 54-yard pass as well, and that was on the first possession of the game for either one of these teams. In fact, they started with the ball, which of course means Sugar will get the ball in the second half. Looking over on the Sugar side of it, 11 completions out of 18 attempts for James Chase, 103 yards. The long is 22. He's got 2 TD touching touchdown passes, pardon me. Right now, you got Carson Harris, 11 rushes for 91 yards. But his long is only 13. So what that shows you with Carson Harris, what he does between those tackles of just pound you, and then what they do is they end up going to the edge and usually hitting a Josiah Bosco, who's 4 for 4. But out of this, Bosco, for all the work he's done offensively, he's the only offensive juggernaut without a touchdown at this point, as the touchdowns have come from everybody else. And, of course, a lot of it, too, at times has been the Diggers' ability to get into the backfield. And, of course, the first half even came to an end with big Ryan Bingham getting in for a sack to end that first half as well. But when you look at this, really it's big plays that have ruled the day, because if you just looked at these stats and you didn't know the score, you'd think the score was 40 to zip. And instead it's 28-20.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, for Teton, all they wanted was just to hang around. I mean, hang around, because like we talked about in the pregame, this is a Sugar team that just has not been tested at all this year. And this is the closest game that they've had so far this year, and it comes in the state final, 28-20. It
does.
Against their rival, Teton. And, for Teton, it's really about them not getting behind the sticks. We saw it in the first half where they would maybe get positive yardage and all of a sudden take a sack or lose yardage or fumble it or do something to set them behind the sticks. And next thing you know, it's 2nd and long, 3rd and long. And if you are the T-Wolves, you cannot afford to do that if you want to hang around in this game, because if you are Jack Nelson, it's like every down's a passing down when you're doing that, and Sugar can just sit back, pin their ears, and either come after you or play coverage. But if you can't mix up the playbook and you're always forced behind the sticks, then really it's easy to defend.
Yeah, that's right. It gets that way, and when you look at, what the halftime adjustments needed for these two teams, you just covered a couple of them right there for Teton, what they have to do. But, you look last week, here's Teton, a primary passing team. Well, they came out in the second half last week against Homedale. Homedale's a good passing team, too. And what did they do against each other in half number 2? They pounded the ball between the tackles. They continued to run and run and run. And this was a Timberwolf team that, again, only loss on the season, came to Sugar-Salem early on in conference. They led at halftime last week against Homedale as well. Now, they gave up that lead during part of the third quarter. Fourth quarter, brought it back, ended up winning that ball game. But when we look at the halftime adjustments that need to be made, I'm telling you right now, if you are Teton, you can't continue to rely on big plays. It's great you got them, but you can't continue to rely on them. You look at the time of possession. Sugar almost tripled their time of possession in that first half. And if you're Sugar, I'm telling you right now, the rear end chewing of the century is going on right now at halftime about that special teams play and giving up, not so much the long pass, but the long run by Joyce from scrimmage.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, every time Sugar got up by 2 scores, Teton would answer with a big play.
That's right.
And it's just Sugar trying to create a little distance between themselves and Teton, and they're just not able to do it. So, yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what kind of adjustments are made and how these teams do come out, because, Sugar's not happy with this. They feel that they are 85,000 points better than Teton, and that's just kind of their swagger. That's just kind of their MO, and they have proven to be that way. And for them to be in a close game like this in the state title game, unacceptable to the coaching staff and Coach Richens and the Diggers. And we'll see if Sugar comes out with a little bit more aggression, a little bit more physicality, a little bit more attitude. Meanwhile, Teton, they still have got to continue to go to the well, try to hit the bomb, try to make the big play. And, like we just got done talking about, stop making mistakes that are putting you behind the sticks.
That's right. And I think, you mentioned physicality right there, talking about Sugar. Well, I think one of the things that has been a benefit for Teton in this ball game, and we mentioned it, as we wrote down the keys to victory for these teams, we talked about Teton having the need to come out and match the physicality of Sugar, because Sugar might be the most physical team in the state at any size. I don't know. They certainly are for the 3A division. And although they're not getting as much physical matchup at the line and in the trenches from Teton, the perimeter has been very physical. We've been able to see Thomas Hoosevelt come up, make some significant plays. Jack Joyce has come up and made some significant plays in this system as well, along with Aiden Millard, who made really what I think was a touchdown-saving tackle on Tate Cutler, pardon me, earlier there in the first quarter before they moved on to the second. So I think, as you come out, you've got to still be pushing the physicality and continue to do it on the perimeter. Don't back down. This is your last game if you're Teton. It's your last game if you're Sugar. You have to leave every single thing on the field for both these teams.
Yeah, and I think we're in for a heck of a second half in the 3A state title game. 28-20. Almost 2 minutes to go before we resume action in the second half. So we'll take a moment, step away, gather ourselves, and be right back for the second half kickoff. This is IdahoSports.com.
At Valleywide Cooperative, we're here when you need us. For 100 years, we have been here to help you with food, fuel, and good old-fashioned advice. And for us, serving is more than a job, it's a way of life, which is why we pour so much into the communities around us. We've employed hundreds of your neighbors. We take pride in that, and in giving back millions in sponsorships, grants, donations, and scholarships. It's our way of saying thanks. We're Valleywide, and yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Yeah, I know a little something about myths. Like the myth that speeding isn't dangerous. Oh, and that myth you can tailgate at a safe distance. Or that you could safely weave in and out of traffic. Don't be fooled by myths. You'll get yourself into a hairy situation. Stay focused on the road. Be a legend like me. Have you heard the one about Charlie over at Pay Lake?
Right back here at the 3A state title game. Scott Burton alongside Lance Taylor, Logan Green, and Paul Kingsbury have a nacho somewhere in the stands.
Or on the field. Will they allow food on the field? I don't know if they will or not.
Well, Paul just flashes his cred, and I think he gets to call a couple of plays, actually.
Well, because if he's got nachos down there, that could lead to a big, massive yellow stain on the football field.
All this talk of food, especially when you started up with a barbecue in the first half, has really made me hungry because I haven't eaten today. And so this is
I'm eating a cookie.
I see that.
That was in my backpack. So I'm on the Middleton Library Board of Directors, and we had this 3-hour-long meeting on Tuesday. And I picked up a cookie on my way out, and it's been in my backpack ever since. So it's about a week-old cookie, and yeah, you're right. This is my meal today.
Well, you are hungry.
Tell you what, I mean, you could put a cookie in your bag and keep it for a week, but try putting a vegetable in there. That's why we don't eat vegetables. They just don't.
That's right. Why would you do that? That carrot would be bad. This cookie's still good.
Exactly.
Well, hey, I'll tell you what, Paul Kingsbury, the owner of Idaho Sports, is taking us out for dinner after this. We're going to have a nice dinner. Now, we can't say the name of where we're going because they have not paid advertising fees on this channel. But it's the same place we always go, at least I assume it is, or the same company we always go to, just different location. And, and we'll be able to catch maybe some late-night college football.
Absolutely. And come say hello if you're out listening to the game. We'll be there.
That's right.
But we got a half to go here in the 3A state title game, the final game of state championship weekend. And we were talking about this off-air moments ago that really outside of that Kendrick game that started on Thursday, we have been treated to some really good state title games.
Yeah, I mean, the 2A game got away late. But it was close throughout in the fourth quarter. It was still a 2-possession game. I did the 1A D1 championship earlier, and that was Butte County. That was our first ever state championship. It was awesome to see it. I think one of the wildest tournament events I've seen. Oakley was going to go in and score, on the last play of the half. They tried a Statue of Liberty. It got blown up in the backfield. Brody Westergaard picked it up and ran it back 95 yards. Talk about a change, and that was the difference in the game. It was even the rest of the way out. You flip the scores around, that game is probably tied going to overtime.
It could be. Let me just give you another side note, little side story. So Brennan Jones, the great coach for Oakley, who was going for his 4th in a row, well, we both grew up as little kids together in Cedar City, Utah. Before we moved to Idaho, we were good buddies growing up as kids. Of course, I moved to Idaho for high school. His family rented dairy down there, and later on, he bought a farm and cattle up in Idaho, and we've rekindled our acquaintance.
All right, Bosco will take the kickoff from the 5-yard line and then get out to about the 30, where Sugar will have it 1st and 10 here to start the second half.
Tackle made that time by Sammy Gonzalez. Sammy Gonzalez, of course, a lot of people remember Junior Gonzalez for Sugar-Salem, who was a quarterback. He was the quarterback on that team right before they won their first state championship game. So he was that last group that ended up getting beat in the semifinals of the playoffs that year. But Sam has stepped up. He's a middle linebacker on this team as well. Has done a great job.
First down, Sugar from their own 30 as we get underway here in the second half.
I shouldn't say he made the tackle. He made the block that led to the extra yards before the tackle.
Chase under center. Handoff. And again, another big hole on first down for Harris. Harris out across the 45 before being bulldogged down out of bounds at the 46. Give him 16 on the carry. And a first down for Sugar.
And, of course, Thomas Roosevelt there to finally push him out of bounds. And, he followed his right tackle first. Then he got behind Bosco, who was able to throw a block for him. And then all of a sudden you saw Bosco kind of look around like, where do you want me to go, left or right? And by that time, Harris off on his own.
Another big hole opened up by that offensive line of Sugar as we've seen them really do the work. First down. Chase under center. Handoff again. Harris. And Harris into the arms of Atchley, who throws him down, but not before Harris picks up about 3 or 4 yards on the play.
But I'll tell you, I think Carson Harris got away with a little bit of a false start on that play. It looked like he left his backfield position with forward momentum. I wondered if he was going to go into motion, but it looked like he leaned in a little bit earlier on. Of course, there is no replay. At least by rule, there's no replay in high school football.
Line of scrimmage right at midfield. Sugar opening possession of the second half. They've got it 2nd down and 6. Handoff. Harris again spins his way to the 45, and he'll be about a yard shy of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 1 for the Diggers.
For any team that wants to be consistent, you might have a good half, you might have a good game here occasionally, but if you want to be consistent throughout a season, you have got to have 3rd and shorts. 3rd and manageable is key. The teams that end up with 3rd and long consistently are the teams, like I said, they might have a good series every now and then. They might have even a good game every now and then, but it's tough to have consistency throughout a season when it's 3rd and long. And that's one thing Sugar's done very well is 3rd and short.
Under center is Chase. Harris runs into a wall, and I don't know. This is going to depend on the spot.
I think according to the far side official who will do it, this looks like it'll probably be a first down.
And we're still waiting.
They're going to get a measurement.
Yeah, they are. This one is tough because Harris ran right up the middle and into a wall of T-Wolves. And usually Harris can spin his way for a couple of extra yards, but he wasn't able to that time. He was stood up and driven backwards.
And the senior Jackson Hatch, who we've named several times defensively today, was the first one in on that. And not only that, he had to shake off a blocker in order to do it.
He's short.
He's going to be short by just a couple of inches. It'll be 4th down. And if you're Sugar, you obviously are going for it here. Line of scrimmage is the Teton 44, and if you're Sugar, I don't know they have ever run a play when they needed a couple of inches that they couldn't get.
They had to do a couple up at Timberlake earlier this year, but it's not an often scenario for either one of these two teams where they've got a 4th and inches to go.
The offense stays on the field as we expected here. 4th and inches for Sugar from the 44 of Teton. Chase will work under center. Cutler and Harris behind him. Handoff, Harris, first down.
That's just really tough, you know. That of course, was one of those old 1985 Bears plays where you would stick in the fridge, you know.
Yeah.
William the Fridge Perry.
So tough to stop when a runner like Harris just gets a head of steam, even if it's a 4-yard head of steam. You're not going to stop him from getting at least a yard.
Well, wasn't that a great team, that Bears team? You know, Jim McMahon was the quarterback of that team. Of course, you had the great Walter Payton in the backfield.
My dad filmed an ESPN hunt with Walter Payton.
Singletary, that middle linebacker that was so good. And, of course, William the Fridge.
Quick handoff. Harris breaks a tackle. Harris inside the 35 to the 34. Gain of 8.
You know, I can't say enough, and he's sitting down on the field right now, Joker Joyce. He got a little stinger on that. That sophomore has had to step up from his position when Carson Harris has broke through the initial line, has had to make a number of hits on Harris tonight. And that is not a coveted thing to have to do from that position. You're already giving up about 20 to 30 pounds as it is, maybe even more than 30 pounds. And he has done a heck of a job, that sophomore, in a very, very tough predicament.
Yeah, and as Joyce exits the field, he limps off of the field, and now they're going to take a look at him.
The good news is he did it on his own.
Yeah, I don't think he was going to let anybody help him off the field.
Yeah, hopefully it's just a stinger. Again, his dad, the coach for this team, coached at Jackson Hole, where Jack Joyce started his high school career.
2nd down and 2 for Sugar. Handoff. This is going to be McAnally, and McAnally's going to have the first down, picks up 4 yards. Inside the 30, we go to the 29. Sugar on the move and a fresh set of downs.
Dawson McAnally, and I got to get his name right. I know his dad so well, and I've given his dad over the PA about credit for about 7 or 8 touchdowns this year. Call him Jace instead of Dawson, but Dawson, one of the things you notice about him, nothing's big, nothing's flashy. He's just a very consistent runner.
2 receivers to the right. Chase working out of the gun. Chase looked to throw, quick slant, caught. It's McAnally. McAnally inside the 20. McAnally holding onto that football as Teton was trying to rip it out of there, and he finally hits the turf at the 16-yard line, and that's going to be another first down, 13 yards on the pass completion.
Barkley up for the tackle on that. We've called his name a lot. You know, I think what's been impressive about this defensive line, this defensive front for Teton today is they are outweighed as a whole. I mean, on average, if you averaged it out, they've got to be outweighed on average by 35 pounds, maybe even more. But you talk about those kids that just know how to play football, and that's that group on the defensive line.
First down for the Diggers. Chase working out of the gun, empty backfield, swing pass out to the left, caught by Harris. Harris still on his feet, breaks a tackle inside the 5. He goes down to the 3.
Caden Hastings had him dead to rights on the tackle. In fact, Hastings grabbed a hold of him with about 5 yards left before the first down and just got drugged.
And we talk about this. We talked about it in the first half multiple times. Is the yards after contact for Carson Harris, is he's just a tough dude to bring down on the initial contact, and that play no different. Spun his way free, got down to the 3-yard line where it's 1st and goal, Sugar. Chase under center this time. Cutler and Harris behind him. Harris stops short of the goal line. At the 1, it'll be 2nd down and goal.
Great tackle.
Yeah.
Great tackle to bring him down. That time in on the tackle to help out was Max Atchley, who was very undersized there, but they were able to get him by the ankles, get Harris by the ankles. Atchley was able to come in and knock him down and keep him off that goal line.
And then Millard in there to finish him off, and 2nd down and goal for the Diggers at the Teton 1-yard line. Diggers trying to get it back to a 2-score advantage against a Teton team that just won't go away.
And you talk about time of possession. They've run half the third quarter off in one drive.
Handoff, Harris to the goal line, spun in, touchdown. Harris hit at the 1, but like he always does, just spins around, falls into the end zone, a 1-yard touchdown run, and the Diggers on the board and up by 2 scores.
You know, Scott, I was thinking the last time you and I did a football game together was right here in the Dome. It was the 2020 season, actually 2019. The graduating class was 2020 that year. That was the COVID year for all the spring sports, but it was Sugar and Homedale.
Yeah, and
right here.
You and Clay were
Clay
the local knowledge expert encyclopedia people, and you guys were back and forth on the knowledge. And in fact, we still talk about that broadcast as one of the best broadcasts we've ever done, because it's tough to do a 3-man crew, but to have the knowledge that you two had about your hometowns, and me just trying to stay out of your way and direct traffic. I mean, it was so much fun to do.
Something happened on this extra point. Not sure what it was, but it's going to come back. It's going to be a personal foul. Chop block.
Chop block is going to go against Sugar on the extra point. Well,
you know, before that, Scott, for as good of friends as you and I are, and as much as we collaborate on things, before that game, do you realize the last event we did before that was a 4A girls state basketball tournament? Had a lot of fun at that, held at Timberline High School that year.
Right. I still have the pictures showing that great time from the 25. It's going to be a 35-yard extra point, and no doubt right down the gut. That would have been good from a lot further than that.
The sophomore Tykert, who just won his second straight state soccer championship. And here's something interesting. McAnally had to do the kicking during that weekend because his first priority for Tykert was soccer. And so the McAnally did a great job. That was the week, they played Timberlake at Madison High School.
Well, 5:50 to go here in the third, and what a long drive for Sugar on that, as they took a lot of time off the
More than
clock.
half of the third quarter.
And that is exactly what Sugar wanted to do. A long, sustained drive results in a touchdown. 35-20 is your score.
Taylor Chevrolet is proud to support Sugar-Salem Athletics. Taylor Chevrolet has been serving the Upper Valley for over 90 years. With excellent service and stellar sales team, Taylor Chevrolet is the home of oil changes for life. That's right. Buy any new or used vehicle and never worry about your oil again. Taylor Chevrolet is your Southeast Idaho auto dealer with a wide selection of Chevrolet and Cadillac models. Come in today, get the vehicle you want with oil changes for life, or stop by their Rexburg location. Visit them at TaylorChev.com.
On the return, this is going to be Joyce. Joyce from the 10 runs it clear across the field before being run out of bounds as he crosses the 25 to the 27, and that's where Teton will trot the offense back out onto the field, down again by 2 scores.
You know, Taylor Chevrolet, of course, Blake Harris, he can help you out when you go there. But Dave Taylor, I know Dave really well. We only share a last name, but I tell him, I say, you know what, Dave? If it benefits me, we are related. And if it is not, I have no clue who you are. It's just straight coincidence.
Teton from their own 27-yard line looking for another big play just to keep hanging around. This is going to be Nelson. Nelson, not a whole lot of room to run there. He is hit and dropped after about a yard gain. Making the tackle, Bingham again, and we called his name quite a bit.
You know, you look at Bingham's resume, state championship starter last year, state champion shot putter, third place in the discus, state champion cheerleader.
And Joyce with the carry and getting into the backfield and making the first contact was Carson Harris, who gets credited for the tackle after about a yard. It'll be 3rd down and 7.
Well, and then falling on him after Harris got him was big number 77, a 300-plus pounder, Caden Dowling.
4 receivers into the formation. And right up the middle goes Jack Nelson as he was trying to spread out the linebackers in the secondary and find a hole to run on the quarterback draw. It was the interior part of that line that said no.
And Harris goes down on the field. I think he just took a little shot in the thigh. You know, one of the things, or he's got a cramp. You know, one of the things that we see them doing now is, and I can tell you exactly what they're doing by running up between the tackles there, is they're trying to suck those linebackers in, those outside linebackers, and get that single coverage on the outside where they benefit because of the speed of their receivers.
Well, now, because of that play, It'll be 4th down and 4 for Teton once we resume action here after they take care of the cramping issue from Carson Harris. Let's keep it here.
Grand Peaks Medical Center, your community health center, is proud to support our local athletes and keep them healthy on their road to the state titles. Grand Peaks, located in St. Anthony and Rexburg, provides affordable medical, dental, behavioral health, and pharmacy services for the entire family. Their healthcare providers and staff are highly trained and experienced in all areas of primary medicine, obstetrics, family dentistry, behavioral health, and prescription services. Grand Peaks is committed to establishing a personal relationship with each patient and providing affordable health care for your family. Visit grandpeaks.org online for a full list of services. Good luck, diggers, from all the staff at Grand Peaks. ProPete Fertilizer is an enviro-friendly product that reduces leaching. ProPete can help replace organic matter back into the soil. Peat-bound nutrients released when plants need them. Carbon 90 Plus binds nutrients to the natural carbon of peat moss, encouraging steady plant growth for healthier turf with less mowing and thatch. ProPete is a great product for turf and ornamental application. Uses range from lawns and gardens to shrubs and trees. ProPete wants to wish the diggers good luck.
All right, the offense stays on the field, 4th and 4 in Teton territory. And they're going up top into coverage, and it's incomplete. And Teton turns it over on downs.
And that was right in Tyson Brown's hands, in his breadbasket. The defense good by Riley Williams. Riley, of course, his father is a principal at one of the Sugar schools, the Kershaw Intermediate School, and his twin brother Tyler, also plays on this team. But they are fraternal twins. If you saw them, you would never guess they were in the same family, let alone twins.
And Jack Joyce, he came off the field very frustrated for Teton, grabbed his helmet. He was streaking down the hash mark, and he had 2 or 3 steps on his defender. And I think in his mind, he said, especially when the catches dropped, that I would have had that. I would have gone into the end zone if I had the opportunity.
Yeah, if the pass is completed, you can eat that as the opposite receiver on the other side. It's tough when it's incomplete.
Well, the turnover on downs will give the football to Sugar at the Teton 34. Option play left side. This is going to be Bosco taking the pitch and immediately run out of bounds after a short gain.
Josiah Bosco has got a lot of carries tonight. In fact, usually the name you hear second most to Carson Harris is Tate Cutler, but we've called Bosco's name equally as much tonight as we have Cutler, and we've called Cutler's name a lot. But interestingly enough, as much as we called it in the first half, in that first drive in the third quarter, we didn't call Cutler's name one time.
No, it was all Harris. He had almost 40 rushing yards on that drive. He's up to 133 yards on the night.
Well, and then look at the time they took off the clock, and then you get a 3 and out from Teton. Teton will have probably less than a minute of clock time in the third quarter.
2nd down and 7 for the Diggers. Chase under center, and we're going to have whistles before the snap.
Is this an illegal motion?
Didn't get it off in time.
Delay of game for the second time today.
That'll push the Diggers 5 yards back. 3:41 to go, third quarter. 35-20. Sugar with the lead.
And Coach Tyler Richens is heated at James Chase right now. He was just giving it to him on the sideline, as that's twice now. The first one, I think, you can kind of say was on the coaches a little bit because they were changing up the play. This one, that's on your offense.
And that will push the line of scrimmage back to the 35. We're at 2nd down and 12 for Sugar.
There is going to be single coverage with
Tight
Riley
formation.
Williams.
Bosco in the backfield takes the handoff as second man through. Not able to navigate much yardage on the play. Maybe back to the original line of scrimmage where it will be 3rd down and 10 for Sugar.
In on that tackle first. Number 50, Seth Stevens, called his name, that senior, a couple times tonight.
3 minutes and change to go here, third quarter. And Chase finally runs the play in as they are going to be in danger of another penalty if they don't hurry.
Yeah. Back judge's arm is already up.
Out of the gun, and they finally barely get it off. Out route at the 30-yard line is complete. That's going to be McAnally on the reception. And it's going to be short of the first down, and that will bring up 4th down and about 2 for Sugar.
Well, and it was Jack Joyce, the sophomore again, who we saw limp off the field during the previous possession for Sugar, and he's back on. He makes the good tackle to keep McAnally short. And again, that's a size matchup, not in favor of Joyce, but he plays that fundamental defense, tackles the right way. I think what we're going to see here is probably a Carson Harris follow-up, I would imagine, right behind Clark Sidaway.
4th and 2. Big play for both of these teams. There's Harris. Harris has the first down off the right side as he spins out of one tackle, spins out of another tackle. Harris to the end zone, touchdown. Oh boy, Carson Harris. 25 yards out, broke a couple of tackles, and 6 more on the board for Sugar.
2 tacklers had him wrapped and were unable to bring him down. The Weeble Wobble just gets right in.
And Harris into the end zone. And Sugar extending the lead. 41-20, extra point pending. And the kick is up and good. 2:07 to go, third quarter. Sugar gets a little separation, something they haven't had all game. They're up by 22, 42-20. Let's keep it right here, Logan.
Harris has 64 yards so far in this third quarter alone, 158 yards on the ground so far today. He's touched it twice. The last 2 times he's touched it, he's gone in for 2 different touchdowns.
Fantastic for Harris. Gateway Park in Idaho Falls is bringing the mountain to town this winter season. By the way, I drove past there today, guys, on my way here, Sunnyside Road. And
it was on, wasn't it?
Yeah. They've got all the boards up. They've got everything ready to go. Gateway Park is a new tubing hill in Idaho Falls. Of course, they got one up in the Boise area. They got one down in Utah at Spanish Fork as well. It's located right by Ryder Park on Sunnyside Road, close to the freeway. It snows every day at Gateway Park. Great for families, kids, youth groups. Everyone will have fun times at Eastern Idaho's newest tubing adventure. That's Gateway Park.
Sugar to kick it off to Teton. Teton approaching desperation mode. If they want to stay in this thing, they have got to come up with something. The kick bobbled and then scooped up by Joker Joyce. Good to see him back into the ball game, but not much on the return as Sugar on special teams coverage was there. But here comes an important possession for Teton. They have been playing so well, just hanging in there with Sugar, and now Sugar has separated themselves, and Teton needs to have an answer. They've got it first down from their own 31-yard line.
Well, and I think you hit it with it. I mean, all drives are important, but none in this game have been more important than this for Teton.
Nelson out of the gun. Nelson will hand it off, and nowhere to go for Hoosavel.
Well, and we can see the different halftime adjustments made by both teams. And one of them, I told you there was going to be a chewing going on in the Sugar locker room and giving up that long run from scrimmage that they did in the first half to Jack Joyce, which was a fantastic run and touchdown. We see it, but what you see is Teton says, let's continue to challenge that. It's just not working in the second half.
And on second down, they try to get it to the speedster on the outside, or Jack Joyce, and he is unable to do anything as the pursuit by Sugar was exceptional. In on the play was Tate Cutler.
Well, Big Red's got out to that side several times, and the thing is the speed advantage goes to Joyce in that scenario. So now staying home in your positions defensively and not biting on other things is the way you pick up those tackles without giving up the speed advantage.
Third down and 11 for Teton from their own 30-yard line. Play action, Nelson back to throw, has all kinds of time, and he's got a man open, and it's dropped. Jack Joyce had nobody around him. He would have had the first down and a whole lot more, and he knows it, and it's 4th and 11.
And I'll tell you, so Sam Gonzalez, who had coverage on that, had bit to the inside. We talk about staying home. He had bit to the inside on the run fake, and that left Joyce wide open. You're not going to get a better look than that.
Right play call, just couldn't execute it, and Teton will punt it away from their own 20-yard line. And the kick takes a Teton bounce, rolls inside the 35, and it looks like down around the 31, and that's where Sugar will take over.
Fall River Propane serves eastern Idaho from Shelley and Firth to Island Park and Teton Valley with the highest quality, hottest burning propane and competitive prices. Our industry-trained and certified service staff services all makes and models of propane fireplaces and stoves. Fall River Propane is your full-service propane provider for homes and businesses. Check them out at fallriverpropane.com or call anytime with a new phone number, 833-682-3671. That's 833-682-3671. Fall River Propane. Experience the difference.
45 seconds to go in the third quarter. Sugar with the football, 1st and 10.
The Dome is open today because ISU's on the road. They are currently down 42-0 to my Vandals. Just had to throw that in there.
Well, how about that? This is Cutler on the handoff, hit and dropped at the line of scrimmage. Nice tackle by the T-Wolves. That is Seth Stevens. We've called his name quite a bit defensively for the T-Wolves.
You know, you mentioned your Idaho Vandals, and I made a statement earlier this year that Idaho has a legitimate shot of being in that national championship conversation this year. They're a very, very good team.
They lost to Weber last week, and I think that was a slap in the face that they needed just to be, okay, you know, let's get back into it.
They're taking it out on Idaho State this week. You don't want to be the team that plays them after that.
2nd down and 9 for the Diggers from their own 33-yard line. This is Cutler, left side, trying to find some room, and he's got some room. Out across the 40, breaks a tackle, midfield. He's on the loose, far side. It's a foot race, and finally hit out of bounds inside the 20, and what a run by Cutler. But what a big hole by the left side of that offensive line.
And a great chase down by the speedster Roosevelt, who was able to get there and finally knock him out of bounds. I'm telling you what, against 99 out of 100 teams, that would have been a touchdown, but you have the legs of Thomas Roosevelt, who's a state quality sprinter and qualifier. What a great job.
And that will bring the third quarter to a close. A huge play by the Diggers, and they're set up again. 42-20 after 3. Lance, let's keep it here.
Franklin Building Supply is a proud supporter of local student athletes and all the building professionals of eastern Idaho. Their friendly and knowledgeable team is ready to help make your project a success from start to finish. Franklin Building Supply in Pocatello, it's certainly worth the trip. Since 1963, Harold Harris Construction has been a family-owned and operated construction business serving all of southeast Idaho and western Wyoming. Harold Harris Construction proudly supports Sugar-Salem athletics and wishes the boys good luck tonight. And they say, go Diggers. And of course, Blisters Barbecue, you got to love them. Just opened up their second location at Teton Lakes Golf Course. Just a fantastic place to eat. You can get their tri-tips there. But I'll tell you what, their equivalent of a Philly cheesesteak, I think, might be the best sandwich I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
All right, Lance, let's head on up there.
Let's
it's on Lance. I heard him say it.
Okay, so this is the deal. You bring your family out, and we take our time today, or this winter at Gateway Park, and then let's go and eat thereafter.
No, it's sold. So can I just come by myself?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you do, well, never mind. I can't say that on the air. So, and the only reason I can't say it on the air is I was going to bring up one other thing, but again, they haven't paid for advertising, so so I can't.
First down for Sugar at the 19. Inside handoff. Harris spinning around down to the 11. He goes. Gain of 8 on the play, and Sugar knocking on the door again.
And again, just that consistent run by Harris every time he does it. You know, he's just so consistent. The Diggers, you know, we talk about halftime adjustments. They put up 2 scores coming out in half number 2. Timberwolves have not scored, and in fact, they have not had a first down in half number 2, if I am correct.
Yeah, they've. I think they have negative yardage, honestly. My sheet is so bare for them. All their scores have come off long plays, and outside of that, it's been 3 and out.
2 receivers to the right of Chase. Chase will keep it himself and run to the right, try to turn the corner, and we've got a flag coming in as the tackle is made inside the 10. Making the tackle was Joker Joyce, but let's check the penalty.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Case Vela who's going to I think get the holding call out on the edge. We'll see who the injury is. That looked like Bosco.
No, it's Chase.
James Chase.
It happened when he got hit on the run. It looked a little funky, and he's still down. Really hasn't moved much.
Well, the backup quarterback for Sugar-Salem is Jack Gardner, the son of Brady Gardner. Of course, Brady's father is one of my coaches. He was the basketball coach for Ricks College for a lot of years. But Jack Gardner, the junior, is their backup quarterback should he come in. Not a lot of passes in the second half, at least not a lot compared to half number 1. Fall River Propane serves eastern Idaho from Shelley and Firth to Island Park, Teton Valley, with the highest quality, hottest burning propane and competitive prices. Our industry-trained and certified service staff services all makes and models of propane fireplaces as well as stoves. Fall River Propane is your full-service propane provider for homes and businesses. Check them out at fallriverpropane.com or call anytime at our new phone number, 833-682-3671. That's 833-682-3671. Fall River Propane. Come and experience the difference. We talked about Gateway Park earlier. One more shout out. They're in Idaho Falls now. They're bringing the mountain to town this winter season. Gateway Park is a new tubing hill in Idaho Falls, located right by Ryder Park on Sunnyside Road, close to the freeway. It snows every day at Gateway Park. Great for families, kids, youth groups. Everyone will have a fun time at Eastern Idaho's newest tubing adventure. Franklin Building Supplies, proud supporter of local student athletes and all the building professionals of Eastern Idaho. Their friendly and knowledgeable team is ready to help make your project a success from start to finish. Franklin Building Supply in Pocatello, certainly worth the trip. With 26 years of experience, Tony Wade with Farmers Insurance has the knowledge and experience to help you get the coverage you need for your auto, home, life, or business. Simply give him a call today at 208-354-8281 to get a straightforward and personalized quote. Tony Wade with Farmers Insurance. They want to wish the Teton boys good luck today. Heartland AG Systems in Burley has you covered with the application equipment and product support you need to be more productive. With products ranging from water wagons to tanks, Heartland AG has all you need for spraying and spreading. We are your local Case IH application equipment experts, carrying a complete line of new and used equipment, backed by our expert service and parts support team. Find out more by visiting our website at heartlandag.com. That's Heartland Ag Systems, your local Case IH dealer.
Well, James Chase walks off the field, and they were really looking at his right knee, giving him all the tests for ACL and all that kind of stuff, and able to walk off the field, but he will be replaced at quarterback.
Jack Gardner.
And the handoff goes to Harris. And we're going to see a steady diet of Harris and Cutler the rest of the way.
I think so, too. And I think, you got to remember at the end of that play right there before where James Chase got hurt, there was a holding penalty on that play, and that brought Sugar back behind the original line of scrimmage, now 2nd and 12.
2nd and 12, line of scrimmage, 21-yard line. Into the fourth quarter we go, 10.5 minutes to play. And the Diggers with the ball, new quarterback Jack Gardner. Gardner working out of the gun. Harris flanked to his left, 2 receivers to his right. Gardner's going to throw. Looks over the middle. Now back to the right. He's got a man open at the goal line. Touchdown! Sugar! Gardner to Cutler.
Wide open was Tate Cutler. You had Joker Joyce out there in the flat. You also had his teammate. I'm not quite sure who that was. It might have been Burke Nelson. But each one of them thought the other was going to take him, and instead he continued to move back, and Jack Gardner with the strike.
Gardner to Cutler, 21-yard touchdown pass, and the lead extends.
Nothing like seeing your little grandbaby come into the stadium. I just saw that. I love it.
That Lance's family sitting right beneath us.
And it's a big family. My wife is one of 10 children. I was one of 4, and I thought we were huge. She's one of 10, and 6 of the 10 live back in the general area in southeast Idaho, and makes for a lot of family. I've never had to have eye insurance. I've never had to have dental insurance.
Perfect. Boy, you got all the hookups.
Well, my wife's a hygienist, and 2 of my daughters, so they take care of me there.
And the extra point is good. 10:19 to go.
And Tykert, who I am not sure has ever wore a football helmet before.
We're going to take it down really quick, down low to Paul's Kingsbury right here.
Hi, guys. I'm down here on the Sugar-Salem sideline, and as you can hear, they are excited. In fact, I just saw a couple of boosters come in carrying a couple of boxes, no doubt, with some T-shirts, maybe some hats to celebrate the upcoming championship. But all I can think is if there happens to be a magical comeback by Teton, there's going to be some kids in a third world country wondering what the heck a Sugar-Salem digger is. Back to you guys.
Wow. We haven't heard from him all game long, and he comes back with that.
And that's what he's got.
And that's it.
You know, I'm a sucker for gear from school, so if one of those T-shirts finds its way up to me, I won't complain. And then if one of the Teton gear shirts makes its way over here, I also won't complain about that. Why don't I have anything Jerome, Scott?
You didn't ask.
Here it is.
All right.
I'm just messing.
I'll get you hooked up. All right, a little squib kick. Boy, Teton has had trouble with this all game long. And this is Joyce, and he's going to be brought down near the 15-yard line.
You know, it's interesting. We talk about those shirts and stuff, and, you know, the NBA, NFL, and all that. They'll make X amount of hats and X amount of shirts for each team in case they are the ones that are champions. And when they auction some of that stuff off after, some of the priciest ones are the ones from the team that didn't really win it because it's such a unique item. There's not a lot of them. You see that in baseball cards. Some of the most expensive baseball cards are ones that had misprinted stats on them or defective cards, yeah.
49-20. A little over 10 minutes to go. Teton is letting this one slip away. Have been shut out here in the second half. Nelson to throw on first down, being chased out of the pocket, now reverses field, heads to his left, fires to the sideline. It's complete up to the 26-yard line and close to the first down. The pass complete to Ty Brown.
I'm glad to see Ty Brown get a reception out of that. You know, they've tried to go to him several times today. The defense has been fantastic on his side. Ty is just one of the absolute best kids you will ever meet in your life, you know.
And on first down, they're going to hand it off. And this is going to be Jack Joyce. Joyce with a nice run, gain of 11 yards, and the sticks will move again as he gets out to the 37-yard line.
Well, it's an 11-yard run, and I think with the exception of the 68-yarder that he had earlier, I think that's the longest run from scrimmage that Teton has had this afternoon.
It is the longest. So he had the 68-yard run. He also had a 7-yard run, and outside of that 11-yard run's it.
Well, here he is again, Joyce. Gain of 17 on that play into Digger territory.
Well, what you've seen now is we see Sugar going into that prevent defense. 10 minutes on the clock, or 9:20. Let's not give up anything deep, but what does that do in a prevent? That opens up those runs between the tackles.
And another big hole. This time it's going to be Nelson into the secondary inside the 20. Leg still churning. Brought down to the 17-yard line.
I'm looking down at Dan Benyon, the defensive coordinator for Sugar-Salem. Of course, came from Southern Utah University, where he was there when they won those two Big Sky championships as a coach, and is also the strength and conditioning coach at Sugar. He is really upset at giving up those two runs. He's just replaced a couple players because he was really bent over that.
And Sugar takes a timeout. First down for Teton at the Sugar 16 when we return. 8:58 on the clock, 49-20. We'll step away, be right back to Holt after this.
Folks, I've got good news and bad news. Bad news? You just took that selfie with poison ivy. Good news? Someone gets to use their coverage from Your Health Idaho. Quality coverage for as low as $0 a month.
Back here at Holt Arena, Scott Burton alongside Lance Taylor, Logan Green, and Paul Kingsbury roaming the building somewhere. 8:58 to go in this 3A state title game. Sugar on top of Teton 49-20, but Teton knocking on the door, trying to make this thing a little bit closer. Nelson back to pass, look to his right, look to his left, fires to the right pylon, incomplete. He was looking for Ty Brown, and it'll be 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and again, that was actually not a bad pass. It was a tough one to catch, but it wasn't a bad pass because, again, you can't throw that to the inside because that gives the defender a chance to pick that off. Throw it to the outside, so if it's not caught, at least it can't be picked off, and your guy is the only guy that could possibly catch it.
2nd down, handoff, Joyce. Joyce hit and dropped at the line of scrimmage. It's Carson Harris making the tackle for Sugar.
4 of your 6 state championship games were played right here at Holt Arena. Of course, you and I's age, that was the mini dome.
It was a mini dome. Play action, Nelson, slant. And that one was batted out of the air. He was looking for Joyce, or actually he was looking for Roosevelt, and it just kind of got batted up and scooped out of the air by Robbie McCashlin.
Yeah, and there's a flag on the field, and it might be an illegal lineman downfield. Might have been what it was.
I thought it might have been contact early by the Sugar-Salem defender.
It could be. That's one of the options, too. That's one of those that there's several things that you could potentially call on that play.
It almost got blown up, and that's a pick six-esque play, right, where the defender jumps the route. Maybe there was a little bit of contact, but the ball got deflected, and an offensive lineman comes up with it.
Yeah, it was just a quick slant on the left side to Roosevelt, and there was a collision of bodies everywhere, and it could have been intercepted, it could have been caught, and somehow it ended up in the arms of an offensive lineman, and here comes the call from the White Hat. Personal foul, and that's a
blindside block.
And that's going to go against Teton.
Well, it's not only a blindside block, it's a blindside block with helmet-to-helmet contact.
Yep. Either way, it's going to knock Teton back, and poor McCashlin's going to have that stat wiped out of the scorebook. And that will push the line of scrimmage out to the 30. And it's 3rd down and 24 for Teton. Nelson with 2 receivers to each side. And they'll just hand it up the middle. And this one is Roosevelt. Roosevelt staying on his feet as he gets inside the 20. He's still a world away from the first down.
It was finally Aldrich that brought him down. There was a little bit of shoving on the bottom of those piles. You know, you get teams that know each other very well, and that's where chippiness comes more often than anywhere else. Or teams that really know each other, because even if you're friends, there's 2 people you don't want to lose to. One is a sibling, the other is your friends.
4th down and 13. Nelson to throw over the middle, deflected, and falls to the ground. It was almost caught by Roosevelt, as getting his hand on it right at the goal line was Baldwin, and it just kind of bounced off his shoulder pad up in the air, and Roosevelt nearly able to corral it, but it hits the turf. Turnover on downs. Sugar takes over.
So Abe Baldwin, we haven't called his name much tonight. He leads the team in interceptions, does Abe, and he's a first cousin to Ammon Lee. So, of course, his uncle also Jared Lee, who's one of the top 50s at BYU to play, and his brother also played football at Brigham Young University as well.
Wow.
His father was a college basketball player.
What's his blood type?
that I don't know. Do you want his cell phone password?
Yeah, exactly.
Social security number would be great. Home address.
Debit card PIN.
I can tell you right now, the password for most people's computer is password.
I better change mine then. Sugar takes over on downs, and this is going to be Harris up to the 24-yard line, and this is just going to be about grinding the clock out and getting this thing over and taking your trophy and heading down the road just a few miles and let the celebration begin at Sugar City.
Of course, the final score earlier in the season was 41-14. So if we were to end 49-20, just bringing that as a scenario, if this was to end 49-20, the spread is roughly the same. Just a slightly different score on that.
2nd down and 5. Handoff, Cutler, left side, big hole. Cutler cuts it back to the middle. Cutler to the middle of the field, across midfield. Cutler to the races. I don't know if anybody's going to catch him. They aren't. Cutler to the corner of the end zone. Touchdown, Sugar.
Big Red Tate Cutler got out on that, and there was a defender coming who possibly could have caught him. It might have been Roosevelt, but you saw Big Ryan Bingham just kind of run and almost treat it kind of like you're going to have to run through me to get to him, and it slowed him down enough.
76-yard run by Cutler, and the route is on.
And he's got a brother on the other side of the world right now. I can't remember. I think he's in Taiwan. That might be watching this game and being proud of little brother, Big Red Tate Cutler.
Yeah, Big Red's had a big game for Sugar, as it's been really Cutler and Harris doing most of the damage. And Teton has not had an answer. The extra point up and good. 55-20 is your score. 6.5 to go in the ball game. Trophy presentation coming up at the end of this, as well as our IdahoSports.com player of the game. So you want to make sure you stick around for that.
You know, one of the things you got to be careful of here, you hate to have to bring these kind of things up, but one you got to be careful of, you still got 6:30 left, which means there's time for scoring, either on both sides of the ball. We'd imagine Sugar gets it back. They're going to do like that and just try to run the clock. If you break it through, you break it through.
Right.
But this is the point of game where this is the last game for both these teams this year. You got a number of these players that are going to move on to different sports. They're going to move on to wrestling. They're going to move on to basketball. And these are the places that you got to be cautious, because it can get chippy. And these become the times where all of a sudden a kid picks up an injury that puts him out for an upcoming season. Both teams need to hold their emotions in and treat this as if they've been here before. You know, even though this is the first time Teton's been here in years, they've got the kind of athletes that have had a lot of success in their high school careers. And so this is just an extension of the success they've had. For Sugar, you've been here 6 years in a row now. Treat it like you've been here.
And Sugar kicking it off, and it hits an up back, and it bounces off another person and recovered by Sugar. I tell you, Teton has been abysmal at handling the kickoffs, and coming away with it for the Diggers is number 56, Porter McCluskey, as the kick was a line drive, and it hit an up back, or hit one of the front line, and then spun around, and nobody could recover it for Teton as it bounced off another player, and here came McCluskey to recover it at the 38.
And folks, this wasn't a run the score up kind of thing. It wasn't an onside kick. All it was, they have Tykert specifically because he doesn't quite have the leg to get it back in the end zone. So let's not give him a run back like what happened earlier on in the first half.
Oh, absolutely.
So what they've been doing is these squib kicks, and they've been very tough to field.
They have been.
By the first person to have an option at it.
So Sugar gets the ball back. First down at the Teton 38, split backs. And it will be the second man through, left side, breaking a tackle. And breaking another tackle is McAnally. And all that work nets about 3 yards.
Well, it was great pursuit defensively by Max Atchley, who not super big out there. He had to work his way defensively through a couple of offensive linemen, the pulling guard for one, and then the left guard on the other, and finally made the tackle.
Second down and 7 as we are now under 6 minutes to play in the 3A title game. This one is all Sugar, but it took him until the second half to get it done. Double tight formation, handoff. Harris, big hole, inside the 30, into the secondary, and then drug down from behind to the 23, and another first down. Tackle by number 52, Jackson Hatch. But the sticks move for Sugar.
Checking into the ball game for the Diggers, number 54, Austin Rumsey. Checks in also Dallin Stewart, 65. Dallin Stewart grew up in Sugar, then they moved for a few years as his father got transferred down to Utah. Played for a 6A school down there, down just south of Ogden, and now is back as his father got transferred back up to the area.
Gardner under center, hands off Harris. He bounces off a Teton defender right at the line of scrimmage, gathers himself, and then plows ahead for about 3 yards. Tackle made by Garrett Tom.
Well, and I think Tom was the player that he hit into initially, and then I think it was Tom that came back and got him after that initial.
Bounced off of each other and then found each other 3 yards down the field.
What's that game they have where you're getting those blow-up balls and you run into each other? You know, that's kind of what it looked like.
From the 21-yard line, second down and 8 for Sugar. Trying to throw another exclamation point on this game. Gardner in at quarterback as Chase went down with an injury. Handoff. McAnally stretched to the outside. Good pursuit as the tackle made by Millard.
He has made some great tackles today. We called him, and you know, like a lot of the players on this team, compared to the Sugar offense, they're undersized in a lot of scenarios, but just extremely aggressive on their tackles. I've been so proud of both these teams, and I just, you know, my heart aches for a Ty Brown, for a Thomas Roosevelt, for Jack Nelson, kids that have played so hard, and we'll talk about it here in a minute.
Third down for the Diggers. Quick handoff. Harris spins out of one tackle and gets inside the 15. Close to that line to gain. And it is a first down for Sugar.
We look at this Teton team and how good these seniors have been in athletics through their career. And I compare it a lot to, you know, how I feel so bad for guys like Carl Malone and John Stockton, Patrick Ewing, Charles Barkley, all those guys that were so great in their career, but they happen to be playing in the Michael Jordan era, that they didn't get it. And that's been what's happened to Teton. They happen to be playing when a Sugar program has been so tough, and they really haven't been recognized for what a great program they have. And, of course, Coach Joyce has come in here and just raised it to another level.
Absolutely. Teton, nothing to be ashamed of. They just had one weakness this season, and that was Sugar. Gardner to throw on first down. Gardner pumps once, comes back to the left, and he finds his man. It is complete to number 33. That's going to be Dallin Liddell, and he gets inside the 10 to the 7.
You know, Dallin Liddell is one of those players that I think would have had a larger role in the system. He does punt, and he does play a lot of special teams. He does have a touchdown pass this year, but he moved in here as an 8th grader from the Midwest. And then he spent a year here, then moved up to the Northwest for a period of time and moved back. And it just is hard to really get set in a program when positions are already taken, but a very good player.
2nd down and 4 from the 7-yard line. Gardner under center. He'll hand it off to Harris. Harris to the 5, to the goal line, touchdown. 7-yard run this time by Harris. This second half has belonged to Sugar.
Well, I think a lot of that came at the tail end of a chewing at the half.
Absolutely.
To only be up by a single touchdown for Sugar was just unacceptable for the coaches. And again, this isn't true. These guys aren't trying to run up the score. They're just handing the ball off. But for a lot of guys, it's their last year. They want to make sure they're still carrying the ball and still doing it, and Harris has been one of those.
Absolutely. Extra point will happen momentarily as Sugar calls a timeout. 2:16 to play. And a timeout on the field. We'll step away maybe one more time and be back right after this.
We're Valley-wide Country Store. For 100 years, we've been your #1 choice for food, fuel, farm supplies, and just about everything else you could need to get you through your day. We know you work until the job is done, and so do we. For gas on the go, or a little extra to help you get down the road, you can count on us. We are proud to employ your neighbors and to be a cornerstone of your community. We're Valley-wide. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow, we're here for you.
Back here at Holder Inn at 2:16 to go. Extra point. Timeout before they got lined up, and so Sugar will trot the extra point team back out onto the field, and the left-footed kicker of Tykert belts it through. He's had a busy day, and it's 63-20 Sugar.
Well, and the kid that, if I'm thinking right, had never put a football uniform on until this year. Several of the soccer players for Sugar had never, ever worn a football uniform before. Come in because they're the same time of year. Even as youth, they're the same time of year. And then, of course, 3 years ago, you had Dan Benyon's daughter who came on and kicked as well when Crew Clark went down. That was on a state championship team. And she came in and in one game had 2 30-plus yard field goal attempts and was 3 for 3 for extra points.
Sugar-Salem just broke the record for the most points in a 3A state championship game. It was 56 held by Snake River. It is now at least 63 held by Sugar-Salem.
Well, congratulations to Sugar. Talk about an emphatic end to a spectacular season. Set a scoring record in the state title game.
Of course, see Cash Harris, who's had a good game, a touchdown. His sister right down here below us, carrying one of her
There's that
chips.
squib kick again, this time fielded at the 15. Joyce. And gets out to the 19. Every time Joyce has fielded the football, he's always gone to that left side.
Now we're talking about Cash Harris being related to the great Fred Trinkle, great coach at CSI, of course, coached at San Diego State as well. His sister just walked down here below us. She was a multiple-time state champion basketball player at Sugar-Salem as well. You know, and when we talk about siblings and what siblings have been able to do and so forth, you know, there's a lot out there. And you look at Teton, and, you know, what the Brown family has done. Of course, their sister Kinley was one of the greatest track athletes to ever come out of the Mountain Rivers Conference for Teton.
On first down, Teton with the football. And that's going to be Nelson spinning his way out across the 25 to the 26. Clock continues to run. We're under 2 minutes to go. Just waiting for the conclusion of this one. Nelson hands it off, big hole. This is going to be Hoosevelt. Hoosevelt still free across midfield and brought down at the 38-yard line of Sugar-Salem. And, you know, if you're Teton, Lance, I mean, this is just a pride score, something to end on a positive note with.
Yeah, well, there's two seniors right there who have been great for their teams. Now, great run by Hoosevelt, great tackle downfield by Josiah Bosco.
Another big hole left side for Joyce. Joyce down to the 31.
And right there, there's two juniors that will return for their teams next year. You got Abe Baldwin, the junior, leading interceptions for Sugar. And then you got, of course, Jack Joyce.
Up the middle. Hoosevelt has a first down to the 22.
And there's still something to play for here for Teton. Even though you're down 63-20, the outcome of the game is academic at this point. But you can have put up the most points in the season against a Sugar-Salem team. 21 is the most so far by Timberlake. Right now they've got 20.
And you don't think Teton has that little nugget filed away in the back of their mind? I bet they do. This is Nelson. Nelson trying to get to the outside, and he can't do it. And a fantastic play in the open field by Cash Harris.
Just talking about his sister and his uncle just a moment ago. And I'll tell you what, he was fortunate to get out and get that tackle because the entire offensive line bit on the fake handoff.
Four receivers into the formation, two left, two right. Nelson to throw, looks to his left, now fires to the corner. Caught! Touchdown, Teton!
Ty Brown.
Ty Brown with the catch. It was a little back shoulder throw at the left pylon, and Brown made a fantastic grab and then just stepped over the end line. And there it is. If nothing else for Teton, they have put up the most points of any team this year against Sugar. So there is something there. .36 seconds to go. And the extra point coming from Teton. Oswaldo Chavez.
Usually 17 is his jersey. 16 today, just a junior, another player that will return. Both these teams have some key players that will return next year for their respective teams.
63-27. 36 seconds to go. Boy, this is been a lot of points.
Well, the second half.
Oh my goodness.
Has just. I mean, the scoreboard might need to replace a few lights when they're done because it has burned up the scoreboard in the second half. That is the first score for the Timberwolves. But on the other side of it, you know, Sugar, we talked about a lot about halftime adjustments, and I think it was. I think the second half laid out of where the better halftime adjustments were made.
Yeah.
And a lot of them, I think, just simple motivational.
Yeah, Sugar outscoring Teton here in the second half, 35-7. And that's been the difference, obviously, is Teton gave Sugar everything they could handle in that first half. And it served as nothing more than a wake-up call for the Diggers. As they came out in the second half, they were bigger, faster, stronger, more physical. They were everything they were supposed to be. And now the onside kick. And they
didn't quite go 10.
It didn't, but jumping on it were the Diggers at the 48-yard line. So Sugar will take a knee, and this thing will be over. And then we'll stick around for the trophy presentation as well as the player of the game. So you want to stick around for that one because that had some discussion attached to it.
You know, you look at this group of seniors for Sugar, state champions as freshmen, many of them dressed in that time. In fact, Carson Harris even got a few carries in that. Lost it in double overtime on about 1 inch out.
Yes.
As sophomores. Won it last year as juniors, won it this year as seniors, and this is their second year in a row now, undefeated all the way through from game number 1 through the state championship game.
What a machine they've got going on with Sugar-Salem football. And boy, did they flex their muscle here tonight in the 3A title game as Gardner takes a knee, and that's going to do it as we are winding down the final seconds here in the 3A title game. Two familiar foes battling it out, and this one belonged to Goliath. They defeat David, and this one was all Diggers in that second half. And, you know, Teton, and we talk about this, Lance, you know these two teams better than anybody. You were to look at this score, you would think, man, Teton dominated. And they were, but that is not indicative of how good this Teton team has been all season long. They had one weakness, one Achilles heel, and it was named Sugar-Salem.
Yep. Well, and Sugar-Salem, I mean, that's a good team. You just put up 27 points. Yeah, they put 63 up on you. You just put up 27 points on a team that was giving up less than 10 points a game. And their entire schedule up until Timberlake this year was 4A teams. One of those being Star Valley, who just won another state championship in the state of Wyoming, undefeated, number 1 ranked team at any school size in the state in Wyoming. They went and thumped a Star Valley Wyoming team who would be a good-sized 4A team here in the state of Idaho.
And Sugar, boy, how dominant were they this season? They never got challenged. The first half they were challenged by Teton, but after that it was just all about Sugar showing who they were as they ran away with it in the second half, outscoring Teton 35-7. As we now turn our attention to midfield.
You know, as much as a lot of these Sugar kids have spent time in my home, I love this Teton bunch. And we'll see a number of them back through wrestling, through basketball. But Thomas Hooseveld, I've seen that kid since he was just a young kid. I played ball against his father coached Soda Springs for over 20 years. We played against them when I was in high school. He was a great coach. His dad, great player, great family. The Browns, wonderful people as well. I absolutely love those kids, and those are kids that are going to be successful at every single aspect in life.
And there it is, Teton accepting the runner-up trophy at midfield.
Congratulations to head coach David Joyce and his Teton Timberwolves.
Congratulations to Teton on a fantastic season. As we got the two best 3A teams that met in the title game, and Teton's only blemish, 2 blemishes were to Sugar, but the dominating force in 3A is Sugar-Salem, and what a job head coach Tyler Richens and his staff have done over the course of the past 6 years. This thing has been a juggernaut, and boy, did they show their power today, hanging 63 on the second best team in 3A, setting a new scoring record for a state championship game at the 3A ranks, and now will hoist the blue trophy, white banner, and start the celebration back in Sugar City.
Well, there's going to be some fireworks and some fire engines with their sirens going off as this team drives back into little Sugar City. You know, the high school is Sugar-Salem, and Salem's quite a bit bigger population than Sugar City is. It's just so spread out because a lot of it is farmland, you know, and acreage. And Sugar itself, I believe, is only somewhere around 1,200 people.
Well, I tell you, it's never been out that way. I mean, it's God's country. It's rolling hills and farmland and just kind of the open spaces of what you have small town football looking like. It's just the tough farm kids.
All the way, all the way. Go. All the way down, all the way down.
Driving under the influence is not a risk we're willing to take. Be around to do more of what you love.
We do things differently in Idaho. Sometimes we go east to find west, where muddy trails meet huckleberry smiles. Stars shine electric, and the wind smells like destiny. Sure, our traffic jams are strange, and not all our steaks are ribeyes. But wherever we go, our eyes never leave the road. Belts strapped and dreams packed, no distractions, no phones, focused. From here to there, it's who we are.
Back here in the postgame, Scott Burton alongside Lance Taylor, Logan Green, and Paul Kingsbury down on the field trying to get hold of our players of the game. And while he's trying to corral them, let's just tell you who they are, as we kind of pulled an audible here and couldn't make up our mind, as they were great performances across the board. And we decided on co-players of the game, Carson Harris and Tate Cutler. These two did everything for Sugar. You look at Carson Harris, 193 yards of offense, 3 touchdowns, and a ton of plays on defense. And then you go to Cutler. Tate Cutler, 155 yards, 4 total touchdowns. I mean, between the two of them, 7 touchdowns. They did everything.
Well, and I think a lot of it goes to the balance of the team. You look at the balance, because you know what? If Cutler hadn't have been on, guess whose name we'd be calling? Probably Bosco's. We'd be calling. You know, there's so many players that you can go to on this Sugar team that if you shut one down, somebody else is just going to step up and take those yards. Dawson McAnally, another one, had a great game. Cash Harris had a great game. You just look at these, you know, of course, we hope that James Chase is okay. He doesn't play basketball, but we wouldn't want him to be injured for baseball season where he's got several offers and, you know, and looks to go to the next level as a pitcher. Just a good team. You know, in fact, I think you can call them a great team, and you can call Teton a great team.
We're waiting to see if Paul can get our players of the game right now. He's sitting right there beside Tate Cutler. Cutler is doing another interview with someone right now. Someone beat Paul to the punch here.
I think that's the Standard Journal down there.
And Carson Harris is grabbing hugs in front of his crowd, too. So
Lance, what is this now? 5 of the last 6 for Sugar?
5 of the last 6.
Boy, talk about a dynasty for Sugar.
But they've played for it, all 6 of those. And again, the loss, as you talk about it, the loss, double overtime. Carson Harris is a sophomore, gets tackled with about an inch to go on a fantastic tackle. It was a great game against Weiser that they avenged last week. But you understand they're about 1 inch away from this being a six-peat.
And I think we're going to shoot it
Pretty
down
close.
to Paul here. I see him down here with Carson Harris.
And he's waiting, and Harris goes over to Cutler, the two of them. And Paul Kingsbury has finally got the two of them together. So we're just going to wait for his signal, and we'll send it down and see if he can pull off the double interview.
All right, I'm down on the field. One of our co-MVPs, Mr. Tate Cutler. No, Carson Harris. You know, I asked which is which because I didn't have my roster, and the clowns up in the press box, well, they're clowns. But, hey, you had a great game tonight. It's an exciting, obviously, night for you guys. You guys broke the scoring record. How cool is that?
That's awesome. I mean, I didn't even know what it was, but we did it, and that's pretty cool.
It used to be 56 points. You guys beat that, set back in 96, 97. And so you guys beat that by a long shot. But do you know how many touchdowns you had tonight?
3, I think.
Good job. Yes, you had 3 touchdowns, 193 yards. A great game for you. Well, what's it like being a part of this Sugar-Salem dynasty year in and year out?
Oh, man, it's the greatest thing in the world, really. It's just, it does more than just teaches you how to play good football. It sets you up for having a good life, really. Like, the things we're taught, the coaches, like, they coach football and all, but they're life coaches. And they seriously set you up to have a good life. And being a part of this dynasty is something that I'll never forget.
So it's not just about football, it's about becoming good men.
About becoming good men, exactly.
All right, well, we are going to get a hold of the real Tate Cutler this time. But you go enjoy the victory. Congratulations again. And who knows what happens down the road. Maybe we'll see the Diggers back in it again next year. Yes, sir. Thanks. Back up to you guys.
All right, as Paul finishes his interview with Carson Harris, a big game for Mr. Harris. 3 total touchdowns, and he's trying to track down Tate Cutler, who scooted off down the sideline.
There he's
got him now.
So now you see why I call him Big Red.
Yeah, I see it. Back down to Paul. Paul, what do you got?
All right, I found the real Tate Cutler. He stood up. I called him the wrong one. Not the first time. So 155 yards, 4 total touchdowns tonight in this record-breaking scoring game. How do you feel?
Well, I feel great. Bit sore, but I feel great.
A little bit sore. What was the biggest hit you took tonight?
Definitely on my first run. Kind of took a step back and got smacked right behind.
So your biggest hit came on your first run. That kind of sets the tone for the rest of the game.
Yes, it did.
So what was the big play for you in your mind that really turned the corner in this game?
Let's think about it. That one long run down this sideline right here, I felt like that's what put them out.
You kind of knew from that point on that it was no looking back.
Yes, sir.
Well, all right. Well, hey, congratulations again as one of our co-players of the game. Go celebrate. Have a good night. We'll see you.
Thank you.
Back, guys.
All right, thanks, Paul. Interviews with our co-players of the game. We threw Kingsbury a curveball on that one as he had to track down 2 players, but tell you what, he got the job done. Congratulations to Carson Harris and Tate Cutler and to the Sugar-Salem Diggers as they claim the 3A state title. And this brings a close to the football season as this was the last state championship game. Lance, and final thoughts for you.
Just an end to a great season, and I truly think you had the 2 best 3A teams out on the field. I truly believe that. I had a lot of people called me last week and said, hey, tell us about Teton. I think they're going to get killed by Homedale, this, that, and the other. But I'll tell you something, and I was telling them Teton's a great team. Teton's a great team, and Teton went out and beat a great Homedale team as well. But I think we truly had the 2 best teams, you know, and like I says, I've known these kids from both schools for a long time. I just love them. I appreciate the effort they put out on the field. And I think as time moves on, you're going to see those friendships bond between those kids. They'll go to college together, many of them, they'll have a lot of other things in common, and you'll look back and say, thanks for making us better. That's what each player can do.
All right, Logan, well, you've sat here for all these games, and a great way to end to see a dynasty just flex its muscle like Sugar did. We kind of had a feeling that Sugar was going to be the 3A champion. We just didn't know to what extent they were going to do it. And, boy, they hung 63 on a really good Teton team, and that just shows how above and beyond Sugar is in this 3A division.
Yeah, I mean, last week I was there when Teton played Homedale, and Homedale did not give up points all year long. They were just such a tough team, and Teton was able to do what they did there. And then for Sugar to just shut them down the way they did right here, there's a reason that they are in the position they're in. This is a true dynasty right now that we are watching.
All right, well, that's going to do it for us here at Holt Arena. This has been an IdahoSports.com GameStreams production of the 2023 Idaho High School Football Playoffs, presented by the Idaho Transportation Department and IDEAL, Idaho's college savings program. Additional coverage on IdahoSports.com is presented by Project Filter, the Idaho Department of Health and Welfare, Valleywide Cooperative, Next Steps Idaho, Your Health Idaho, and your local Toyota dealers. And the broadcast was also made possible by the great support from our local business partners, Lance, and they include
Blisters Barbecue, Taylor Chevrolet, Grand Peaks Medical, Pro-Pete Fertilizer, Gateway Park, Fall River Propane, Franklin Building Supply, Harold Harris Construction, Tony Wade with Farmers Insurance, and Heartland Ag Systems.
All right, special thanks to the staff at Holt Arena for their hospitality and help in getting all of these state championship games broadcast to you. And today's players of the game, well, it's brought to you by the Idaho Office of Highway Safety, reminding you to always keep your head in the game. Whether you're on the field or on the road, be in the moment and free from distractions. And congratulations to our players of the game, Carson Harris and Tate Cutler, combining for 7 total touchdowns and leading the Diggers to another undefeated season and another state championship. Well, thanks again for joining us as Sugar-Salem defeats Teton in the 3A title game by a final score of 63-27. For my broadcast partners, Lance Taylor, Logan Green, and Paul Kingsbury down on the field, and everyone else behind the scenes here at IdahoSports.com, my name is Scott Burton. Thanks for joining us, and so long, everybody.
Did you know Idaho high school seniors graduating next spring are eligible for up to $8,000 in grant money for career training and education through Idaho Launch? Funds can be used to cover the cost of apprenticeships, job training, community college, and university programs that lead to in-demand careers. Students choose their own path, and Idaho Launch helps pay for it. Funds are limited. Apply today at nextsteps.idaho.gov/launch. Idaho Launch. Support in every direction.
529 College Savings Program. Eventually, they'll appreciate it.
I loved it. Thank you.
College costs money.
This has been a presentation of IdahoSports.com GameStreams. This broadcast is copyrighted to IdahoSports.com. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of IdahoSports.com is strictly prohibited.